Like the Legion warriors ready to fight. Lift your hands, you got to stand with all your might. Into the shells, reignite. Troops in the battle, tribes unite. Rebels rise, hear the sound. Metal echoes, alright.
What's up? Good Saturday morning or evening or wherever you're listening from. Good Saturday to you. Chris dropped his pencil.
I brought my pencil.
Keep yourself right on, man.
I don't feel tardy.
That's right. We're a little tardy.
We're a little tardy. But
yeah, well, we're always a little tardy.
We always are.
In more than one way sometimes.
Hey, I wasn't gonna go there, but yeah. What's happening, everyone? What's happening? Man, we're starting off real well this morning.
Yeah. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving.
I did. Yeah,
I did too much. I think. So.
Yeah.
According to the scale, I did. Anyways.
Well, I don't even worry about that. It's like, I mean, it's that time of year where, like, if you're starting with Thanksgiving, going into Christmas, heading into New Year's, I mean, it's just, don't even bother. Because, I mean, Thanksgiving, you got all the food for Thanksgiving. And then, Christmas season starts and you got cookies and candy and everything else. It's like, it's like a month and a half. It's like, don't even worry about it.
It's like cheap month,
Yeah, wait till January shows up and we're then. I mean, there's no point. Really, the only thing you need to worry about is stay active. I mean, just don't stay around for the next month and a half, whatever it is. Just keep moving. I mean, there's so much good food at this point.
Yeah. I don't have much of a choice on that. Level.
Yeah.
I'm running all over the hospital now, so
yeah. Oh, you get your steps in, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, it's a couple. I'd say it's a couple of miles a day for sure. So
yeah, that's good though, because I mean that's one thing. I mean, I don't like. Don't get me wrong. Everyone likes to sit down every now and then, but I do not like being stapled to I don't like being stapled to a desk. I can't stand that shit.
Yeah, that's what. So I was looking at we're able to like move around stuff. The pharmacists are pretty much in this little, I don't know, round table like computers set up over there, and they're all just like sitting there. I'm just like, hell no.
Like a little command center.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they do have to do a lot of more of their stuff is checking and stuff like. They don't really do a lot of the groundwork, I guess. That's all techs do. So
yeah.
Oh man. So
yeah. But yeah, just hell, stay as active as you can. I mean, whether it's at work or just whatever. The cool thing is thankfully the weather's cooperated the last few days. But I mean, Angela and I, we went hiking yesterday, and I think we went last weekend too, which is something we love to do. We love to just go out and hike. And we went over to Yanali on the other side of town, and we actually found a trail that wasn't even marked, which is always cool when you can find a trail that's not marked.
Oh yeah.
We ended up walking all the way down to the river. We didn't even know how far it went. We ultimately ended up at the river. It's like, holy shit, this is a long hike. So wow. Yeah, it was cool just to get out and get away and just be out.
Oh yeah, I forget about that little trail. That trail over there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Alyssa and them used to walk it a lot when she lived over on that side of town. So
yeah, it's a nice park. But yeah, we found a trail that's off the beaten path, literally.
Yeah.
And wasn't even on the map. So that's always fun when you can do that. But it was a good time.
Speaking of good times, I had a real good time last week. So.
Yeah. Well, a 63-point win will do that for you.
Yeah. So it was man. Let me tell you something. That place is just unreal, dude. Like I think it's like the history and stuff kind of hits you when you're actually there. I mean, I know the history, but when it's actually like in your face and you're reading the plaques and seeing the statues, and it's like, wow, this is
Right.
cool, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll try to go back and just do the whole thing where we can tour the campus and you know go to mass and all that stuff. Where we can
Yeah.
actually do the whole experience. You know what I mean? So
Right. Yeah, it's kind of the same deal when Bob and I went up to Ann Arbor. Of course, that's where we're from, Ann Arbor. But I mean, we went, a couple years back, and we went to catch a game, and it's pretty crazy because I don't know what the capacity is at Notre Dame Stadium, but they get 110,000 plus, you know,
mm,
and they've had like almost 400 straight games with you know 100 plus fans showing up on Saturdays. And it's crazy because you get that many people in one spot, and you kind of look around and it's like, God, because you and I we've been to tons of concerts, and we were at Louder Than Life, a couple months ago, and for all the people that were at Louder Than Life, it's kind of the same deal, when we were at the big house, and you just kind of before the game starts or at halftime, or you just look around and just the amount of people. And the funny thing is, on Saturdays, the population of Ann Arbor doubles
mm-hmm.
because everybody comes to the stadium and all that, and it's an experience. College football is an experience. I've never been to an NFL game, so I'm sure it's probably the same thing because a lot of NFL stadiums, like I know AT&T Stadium has a capacity of like 80,000, and I don't know what Ford Field's capacity is, and they sell out all the time, even though the Lions have been historically been dog shit. But they still have a loyal fan. Both of our teams have loyal fan base,
Oh yeah.
whether they're winning or not. So I'm sure NFL is the same way. But when you have two teams like the teams that we root for, Michigan's been around since 1817. Notre Dame's been around for probably not, mate. I don't know how long Notre Dame's been around, but anyway, so the teams that we follow, I mean, they have loyal fan bases, and when you go and college football to me is a completely different atmosphere. So you go to these games on Saturdays, and it's almost like a religion, and more so for Notre Dame because of because it's actually a Catholic college,
Right.
but but it is an experience.
It said it broke ground 1929. The
Okay,
stadium
so there
did.
you go. So there you go. Yeah. So I mean, going on a century. So yeah, it's just tradition and all that stuff in the atmosphere. So it's awesome to experience a college football Saturday, and I know a lot of people can relate to that. No matter who you root for, whether you're rooting for one of the teams down here, one of the SEC teams, or whatever, Big Ten team, independent, whatever. Some of these programs have been around literally for decades, and they've just built these reputations and these atmospheres and all this stuff. It's an experience, if you get to go to, especially if you're going to one of the major programs like Michigan, like Notre Dame, like Alabama, like and
I mean, even
stuff.
Tennessee's a big.
Oh yeah, UT. I mean, UT. They have so and any of the SEC schools really. As much as I can't really stand the SEC as a conference, I mean, a lot of their I actually want to go to an LSU game on a Saturday because my in-laws are Louisiana Louisiana natives, and a lot of them are LSU fans, and I've been through Baton Rouge on a Saturday, but I've never actually stopped.
Yeah, stop.
So I mean, I'd actually like to experience that once, but yeah, the college football experience, it's just a different animal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty wild, man. Like for the craziest thing is they had 35 points and the offense hadn't even been on the field. So it's kind of, I'm just like, what?
I saw your Facebook post about that.
I was like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, I saw that.
I said, this shit's unreal. I don't, for me to be like my first time being there live, and then all that to happen is just, that was like a record where they've never done that before. And then of course they scored 70 points, which they haven't done before. So it was
Notre Dame's never scored 70 points before.
I don't think they've won by that much. Like, I don't think they've won by 63. Maybe that's what it was. I don't remember.
I got you. Because I was going to say, for as long as Notre Dame's been playing football, they haven't scored 70 points once. That doesn't seem right. But margin of victory, I can see that.
Yeah, I was trying to see if that's because they said there was two when they announced that they broke two records during the game. I'm like, oh, I don't remember what they were, but they just said they broke most recent.
That's still cool though, especially when they did it on the day that you were there. That's always cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like for them to the craziest thing was the blocked kick. That was crazy. The blocked punt. That was crazy because it just like landed right in dude's hand. Like I was like, man, that would never happen. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure it does, but not that often. So I was just like, man, that's just crazy. And like they were facing us at the time, so we were right there. I was probably, I mean, I don't know, I was pretty close to the field. I mean, which was kind of crazy that because I took my seat and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're right here." I was expecting to have to go up, a lot to get to where I was on. So as soon as I walk in, I'm like right there to the left. Oh, that's my seat. I'm just like, damn. So,
Nice.
So yeah, so it was pretty close. Be able to, of course, I had tickets on the visitor side because they're always, they're the fan base side is probably, pretty much bought up by season ticket holders.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And they ain't missing shit. I'm telling you that right now.
No.
Yeah. I'm a fan, but there's some super fans that when you go to them places, man.
Oh yeah,
They got their damn car,
yeah.
painted into the Notre Dame stuff, pretty much.
Well, I mean, you got all the boosters and all that stuff. So
it's cool. It's cool to walk into a Walmart though and see all you see is Notre Dame shit.
Right?
This is cool. This is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always nice about going back home too. Same thing. It's like you don't have to worry about finding any. You don't have to worry about finding any. Wolverine or Red Wing stuff or hell anything. Lions, Tigers, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, you go to Meijer, go to Walmart, go to JCPenney, go to
yeah.
Sears, Target. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's always nice. When you don't have to hunt for your team's apparel. That's always really nice.
Of course, they had little places on campus selling their stuff too, which we bought.
Oh, no doubt.
But, I actually bought a commemorative football from the game. So,
see, that's awesome.
Yeah. Of course, there was no score on it. It's just Notre Dame versus Syracuse, and it was the last home game too. So it's kind of
yeah.
There's so much stuff there that is going to be in the memories forever, probably. So
absolutely.
So it's good, knocking stuff off the bucket list for the old ticker kicks out on me.
Well, yeah,
yeah. Hopefully, that was crazy too because I had that done like the Wednesday, and then we left out on that Friday.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I was concerned with was driving and stuff. And he told me, he said, "Oh, man, after 2 days, you should be fine." So, hell, he told me I could work out after 5, but she won't let me still. So,
yeah, baby steps.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more, like I said, telling you before the show started, I think it's more from the concussion stuff than anything. Which is why I don't want to do a lot because, till that phase, kind of all those symptoms kind of go away. They're really, I get dizzy and stuff in the gym wouldn't be a good thing either. So.
No. Yeah, you don't want to take another header into a rack of barbells or something.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, I guess we can get this thing rolling since we're sitting here talking about football. So.
Right. Yeah.
Welcome to the Metalheads Unite Football Edition.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah. So. We will before we get started, we'll say we do have a scheduled guest next week.
That's right.
It may be the last one. Not real sure. I got to.
Because
I got to look at my schedule because right now I'm having to work whatever my trainer's working. So if they wind up having to work a Saturday, I have to do it. So
yeah. Well, that and two. I mean, next Saturday is the first Saturday in December, and
we only got a couple weeks anyway before we take off.
Because we're gonna
the year stuff. So.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put a cap on it with Christmas coming up, and then we have to start doing our 2025 year in review wrap up. Which, by the way, I know we've talked about this before, and we talked about it last year. Did you see that Revolver has already done their song and album of the year? I mean, you still have an entire month.
Yeah,
you still have a whole month.
And if you didn't include some of the albums we've listened to in the last 2 weeks, then something's wrong with you. So
Well, the thing that gets me is and spoiler alert, is Revolver gave Sleep Token their album of the year. They gave Ghost their tour of the year, I think, either tour or live performance of the year, and then they gave Poppy, Courtney LaPlante, and
I've
Amy
seen
Lee
that.
like
I've
their
seen
song
that.
of the
Yeah.
and I guess that's all well and good, but I mean, I don't know if I necessarily agree, but I mean, hey, that's their publication, it's whatever. But I mean, it's
Well,
not. We still
who
have,
made it? But who made those decisions? That's what I'm saying. Like,
but I mean, well, yeah, that's a good question, but I mean, that all that aside, it's still the 29th of November.
right.
I mean, for Christ's sake, you literally have an entire month of stuff still to come out, man. I mean, if you want to do it on December 29th, that makes total sense.
If I was Metallica, I'd put a song out next week.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, 2025 ain't over, bitch.
Yeah. But and that's the first, Revolver has already done it. And our news outlets are going to do the same thing.
I think I see where one of them's was already talking about it coming up.
Hell, I
Like,
expect Loudwires to be out this week or next week.
I think that's who it was. Maybe let me see.
It's too early. It's too early.
Well, yeah, because you still got a month, and of course we know from talking to people before, like November is kind of the cutoff of doing anything, so they don't like putting out anything in November or December. But
hell,
still,
I mean, looking at the list just for next week releases.
Oh, they already got top 51 best rock and metal albums of 2025.
See, that's stupid. How do you know that?
You're going to change it. You want to change it to like 55 or 60 whenever the rest of it comes out. I mean, I don't.
Right.
How do you not include everyone in that? Like,
yeah, it's not fair.
Yeah, and like we talk about it. Everything that we do is we are an opinionated site on that because we don't take into consideration anybody's thoughts or whatever, and that's fine because people don't have to agree with us. We just want to put out there, something that. If we say a band name and an album, you're like, oh, that's cool. I should check that out. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only reason we do what we do is to maybe get people to listen to some of this stuff. And then, because, I mean, your next favorite album may be some of the shit we listen to. I don't know. I mean, that's like I said, a lot of the ones I do have been favorites. A lot of them I've done have been pretty bad. So it's like, to me.
Well, and that's actually a perfect example of it. Cause I mean, there's been albums this year, like hell, last week, the album that I reviewed last week, I only gave it a 3 out of 5. Somebody may let me check it out. And it might be there, like you say, one that I didn't like, it might be their favorite. And just because we love it doesn't mean you will. And just because we hate it hate is a strong word, but just because we didn't like it as much doesn't mean this. So, I mean, like you say, this is all subjective. It's all subjective.
Well, the thing is,
music is, but I mean,
if we had a publication, going on like some of these do, then I think that I would probably, especially if I'm going to do it now, I would go ahead and start getting some info from people that are listening, that are even listening or watching or whatever they're doing, and be like, hey, what do you think? What do you think the top album of the year is right now? What do you think this?
Yeah.
What's your favorite song from this year? You need to ask the people that are listening to your public or watching or reading your publication. I guess I should say.
Right.
But yeah, just ask those people about what they think because they're the ones that are obviously you're trying to appeal to. So I mean, like I said, we're not trying to be, some editor in chief or anything like that. We're just two guys that love metal that are trying to put a lot of these bands that we think people would like and try to get them out there in front of people. So I mean, if we're doing that, and like I said before, if we do it for 10 people, 10 fans, 100 fans, whatever they get, I'm happy for them. I mean? We watched a lot of bands blow up from this show. Not saying we had anything to do with it,
right?
But they were on this show, and then and we've kind of watched them blow up and grow. It's cool to see, and it's one of those things where we talk about the future of metal. Where is it at? Where it stands? Well, I mean, there you go. I mean, if you got these people, these bands that are, we just had. Oh shit!
I know we've talked to quite a few bands lately.
I was looking because one of our I couldn't remember who they were posting about. Check it out real quick, because
Well, I mean, look at everything that Hidden Intent's been doing lately.
oh, that's
I
crazy
mean, for
stuff,
crying out
dude.
loud, they just got to open up for Onslaught. They got to open up for Testament
Hmm.
when Testament came to Australia. I mean, they're about to open up for Mortal Sin. I mean, for crying out loud, man. And and the on their social media they were talking about big things coming for 2026. I hope that means they're coming
Hmm.
back to the United States at some point.
That would be cool. Yeah.
God, that would be so awesome. So yeah, Hidden Intent, they're doing huge things.
Yeah.
Hidden Intent's doing huge things.
I mean, look at yeah, especially look at all the stuff Halo Scars
Halo
did this
Scars,
year,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Fear Factory twice. I
yep,
mean, you make an impression on Dino Colares, and he invites you back, and you got to go to Florida to do it.
right,
That's pretty cool, man. I mean,
yeah,
I don't care who you are. Like as a band, that kind of boosts your boost your ego a little bit. It's
hmm
got to. It's got confidence and all that good stuff.
and it definitely bolsters your portfolio.
Well, right, yeah. I mean, and
So
they opened up for some big name bands this year, which
yeah,
was crazy. I mean, they got to play with Cold and
yeah,
a
and
couple
hell,
other.
and I mean, hell, Valkyrie's Fire, our friends in Valkyrie's Fire. I mean,
Yeah.
they got to go out and headline a festival. They got
Hmm.
nominated for some award. It's granted they're local awards, but I mean, it's with all of the music that's around here. And we talked about it before. It's not just country music around here.
Right.
Is it predominantly country music? Sure, but it's not just country music around here. So whether it's a national award, local award, or whatever, I mean, they got nominated for several awards.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean they're making a name for themselves too, and every single one of these bands absolutely deserves it. I mean, they're not, none of these bands are backing into anything. You're not backing into an
Right.
award nomination. You're not backing into opening for Fear Factory. You're not backing into opening for Testament and Onslaught and everything else. I mean, so everything that these bands are getting, they've earned and they deserve,
Hmm.
and we couldn't be happier for them.
So this is my thing too. Is a lot of people don't realize how these award shows and stuff work. So when you get nominated for like these Grammys and all that stuff, if I'll take this from the movie business, if you go and look at like a lot of the Oscar nominated movies, go look and see what they did at the box office. They didn't do anything. That's why they're getting nominated for stuff. They want to try to keep advertising and pushing those movies because nobody was watching it. So they're like, oh, we'll sell it on digital or something, trying to get more
Yeah.
money out of it. But that's what's happening. It's like, yeah, Sleep Token is probably a pretty big band now, but they're trying to shove it down your throat for a reason. They wouldn't be shoving it down your throat if they were selling out stadiums every fucking weekend. Just because you had the thing is people's like, oh well, they were there louder in life. Yeah, louder in life. You're paying $500 for a fucking ticket. I'm watching every band. I don't give a shit if I like them, like it or not.
Right.
You know, if you pay that much money, you're going to get your money's worth. I'm sorry. I mean, honestly, this is the thing too. Is like you've been to festivals. You've been to a couple festivals. I've been to a lot of
Yeah,
festivals.
you've been to more than me. Yeah.
But the thing is I've seen people drunk in the parking lot before the damn show ever started. So what's that tell you about the end of the night? Then people are drunk, don't even know who the hell's even fucking playing.
Mm-hmm.
They're just there. Woo.
Yeah.
so to me, that's not fair assessment of anything just because somebody was there at a festival and it was full. Just, okay. I mean, it was full, during other bands too. What the fuck's your point,
Right. Yeah.
It's just like, but yeah, I'm sure they do have a following, and good for them.
Well, I mean,
But
they do. Yeah, they do.
but the thing to me is, and I'll say it 1,000 times, I don't care if they get mad or not, and I'll get called all kind of shit for it. But they're not metal. I don't care. It's like they're not. Um, and the thing is I don't think that they consider themselves metal. That's what's crazy. Is I've never heard anybody say that. Oh yeah, they say they're a metal band. So what? No, nobody that ever argues with that. They always say they're non genre or whatever. They don't really fit into anything, which is cool. I mean, that's fine. If you don't want to fit anything, that's fine. But don't go out accepting the awards then for shit you don't belong in.
Well, see, that's the thing.
If you're that much
I
against
can
it,
get on board with that.
yeah.
I can get on
Say
board.
I'm against it. I don't want to be metal. Oh, but I'll take that award. No, bro,
Right,
that's not
yeah.
how it works. It's like
Yeah.
that's like James Hetfield going to say, "Oh yeah, I'll take the country music nod."
Well, hell, it's like when Dolly Parton tried to turn down
Yeah,
the
exactly.
induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's like, I don't
Mhm.
belong here.
She
She's
made
like,
a she went out and made a rock album just to make
yeah,
it valid,
yeah,
because she didn't think she would,
yeah.
it
And but
was
that's
good for her. I wished a lot of people would do
yeah,
that.
and
Maybe
that's
they'll fucking stop their bullshit. But
yeah, and that's the thing is she tried to say thanks, but no thanks, but they wouldn't let her.
right,
What is
yeah.
that?
What do
What
you
is that
mean you
all
don't
about?
let me?
What is that all
Yeah,
about?
I
So
don't know.
I
Uh,
mean, hell, I mean, Dolly Parton's still a national treasure as far as I'm
well,
concerned. But I
yeah,
mean, but I mean, when it comes to
I can't.
just the musical aspect of it, I mean, come on. I mean, let's you can be honest. She doesn't belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Should she have her own wing in the Country Music Hall of Fame? Fuck yeah,
Absolutely,
absolutely.
absolutely.
My God, yeah, there should be the Dolly Parton wing. So, I mean,
Mhm.
of course, we all know what the building could look like. So but
Look like mounds.
yeah, so, I mean, but
Uh, which reminds me, we have a Dolly Parton and Mariah Carey in our front yard right now. So, uh,
you do.
yeah, Susie put them in Christmas dresses, and uh,
Okay, I'm gonna have to come by. I'm gonna have to come by and check that out.
Dolly one's got some big hoovers too, man.
Well, I mean, you have to.
Uh,
I mean, you have to.
she showed me that, and I said, "You're crazy. That's hilarious."
I don't know why I'm surprised with Susie. I don't know why I'm
But
surprised.
it's pretty funny. But
But yeah, but I mean, I guess at the end of all this, we are going to do our 2025 year in review show for our first show in January, like we've done every single year.
right,
We let the entire year go by, and then our first show of the next year is going to be our recap show. That was our very, very, very first ever show. Was our 2020
was a 2020
was our
recap.
2020 year in review was our very first show. That's how we started off reviewing the last.
Right, we started out reviewing the year
We
before.
did. That was our very first show.
Well, I mean, we were talking about it, and I said, well, we don't really know. I mean, we didn't really know what we were doing at that
Well,
time.
that's
It's
true.
the first thing is like, okay, what should we do? Let's just do a year in review thing. I mean, that kind of puts everything into one show, and we can go off of that. That's kind of what we did. We just kind of
And
threw the end
and
of the review together.
and we haven't seen any reason other to make any changes otherwise. Hell, if anything, what we've just talked about reinforces our perspective of waiting till the first show in January.
Right.
How are you going to completely rule out the entire month of December and the bands that are coming out with stuff in that month? Be like, we're already done with our year in review. What the fuck is
Sorry.
wrong with
Yeah.
you?
You remember like that one year we were doing that, and then Nonpoint put an EP out in December.
Mhm.
It was like,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
yeah.
So I mean, then
Perfect
you had to go and
example, case in point. I mean, Exhibit A, whatever you want to
you
say.
have to, and then I'm a big one Nonpoint fan. I am. I'm not going to like not include that if it's good. So I
And it
mean,
was.
it was
It
good. So I
was.
mean, it's do I like? That's the thing too, is do I like everything from most of the bands I listen to? Not everything. No, I mean, there's always going to be, you know, I think maybe the only band that I could probably just listen to over is probably Pantera. I mean, that's probably I don't know
Yeah.
if I've ever heard a song like, oh man, that sucks. But
Right. I
but
mean,
but I think that Metallica's been around so long. You've heard stuff at Megadeth. Those both of those bands are probably the two biggest names that you could think of as far as, because I mean, probably the big four, whatever.
yeah.
But I mean, there's stuff that they both put up, probably whole albums they put out that we didn't care for.
Well, I've said on this show before, I don't like Super Collider.
Yeah.
I don't like Super Collider.
Vince
It's not
Sevenfold, we
good.
talked about that. How
Oh,
big,
yeah.
they're huge. I mean, so I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
but it's just like
Nobody bats 1,000. Nobody bats 1,000.
no, and that's just like on the other end of it. People, hate on Five Finger Death Punch. We both like them, so I mean, it's kind of like it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, I don't know if it's like it's almost like actually seeing a post about them, and people were arguing in the comments. I like just looking at that and laughing because people just arguing about stupid shit like, well, they're this and they're that. I'm like, that's your opinion though. So you're arguing over each other's opinion, which nobody's ever going to win that way. So I mean, why are you wasting your fucking time?
It's true.
But I seen a thing in there where somebody said, well, they're just like always posting this stuff about it being angry and blah 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 blah. And I wanted to say, well, do you like Hatebreed? I mean, it's like, yeah, like they're the only band that write angry fucking music. Like, get the fuck
Great
out of
point.
here.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's the thing is I don't know why people dislike bands. I don't know if it's like the media's caused them to dislike, or I don't know.
there always seems to be like one or two bands that are trendy to hate on, and I'm gonna give a little bit of a heads up now to the theme of the week. There's gonna be some songs on my theme of the week that's gonna be like, are you like really like, yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll get there, but I mean,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I mean,
I
yeah,
probably got some too that people would be like, "What the fuck?" But,
but yeah, I mean, Five Finger Death Punch, and here lately, and of course, we it's weird because this is going to sound hypocritical, but I mean, we've already talked about Sleep Token and Ghost. We don't really like Sleep Token and Ghost, but that's just us, but a couple of bands, here in the, recent past that have been trendy to hate on is Five Finger Death Punch and Disturbed.
mhm. Yeah.
We like Disturbed and we like Five Finger Death Punch, and that's fine. And we don't like Sleep Token and Ghost, and that's also fine because there are people that do. I have gone on the record, I don't know how many times, talking about I can't stand Led Zeppelin, but at the same
Right.
time, I've also followed that up with saying I can't argue with the numbers and I can't not
Right.
respect the impact that they made.
It's the same with Tool. Tool's
Yeah.
kind of we were down with them on their first album, and then after that it kind of got okay. Well, it sounds like the last album a little bit.
Yeah.
So it kind of got monotonous, I guess. To
Yeah.
me, it did. Like I said, their
Same.
fans are still on.
Same.
I think a lot of their fans were. I got a friend of mine that's a big Tool fan, and he was kind of disappointed with the last album. He said, "I waited 13 years for this shit." I'm like,
Yeah, well, yeah.
it is what it is, man. Like
Yeah.
these guys are getting older, and they're not as they're not as cool as they once were, I guess. But
well, I've always kind of thought that Maynard James Keenan is too far up his own ass anyway. But I mean,
well, that is true. He does think a lot of himself. So it's almost like Yngwie Malmsteen should play guitar for him or something. But
yeah,
but
but again, that's just one person's opinion.
Right,
I can't argue with the amount of fans that Tool has, the amount of albums they sold. I can't argue with any of that.
yeah.
It's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Like I said, is everything that we do is kind of opinionated, and we
Yeah.
don't try to go out and say, "Hey, we're this factual
Yeah, the
publication."
authority on X, Y, and Z. Yeah.
And like in the news stories we share come from someone else, because I mean, that's one of the reasons why we put bands on this show, and we want to, we talk to some of these bands, because that way I don't have to say, "Oh, well, wonder if that's true or not." Hell no, I'll ask them. I'll ask them to their face and get the real, truth behind whatever is going on. Like,
Yeah,
because
and
of course, we're not going to get Nikki Sixx or anybody on the show. I'm not ever planning on asking him. So,
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if you wanted some old, firsthand, conversation with some stuff that happened that some publications have been questioning over the years, and invite them on your show and ask them. Like, I mean, that's the only thing you can do. Like. And I think a lot of times too, man, if you're talking to people that's been around that long and did so much drugs and stuff, it's like, how much do they really recollect? Or, how much
That's
of the
true.
story are they recollecting? And so I mean, you got to look at all those factors and just make your own assumption with things sometimes.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's how you have to do things. But of course,
Well,
I'm sure. Just like Ozzy said, he didn't remember doing a lot of the stuff that he did. Well, I mean, you probably didn't because you were fucked up. But
or he probably did because he was fucked up.
That's why, yeah.
But and the other thing is, and I don't know if this is completely unique to us or not, but I mean, the bands that we've talked to, I don't know if the majority of these other bands have even been interviewed by anybody. We know that we were the first to have Mark from Contortion.
Yeah.
He even told us, he's like, this is the first live podcast I've ever done. So
and he wasn't going to do it. He wasn't going to do it, but something told him to do it. And,
yeah,
and
so,
that was that. I think that really was probably the first time that I felt a sense of purpose here, because he said the way he said that, it's like, yeah, man, just to let you know, I wasn't going to do it, and then something told me just just do it. And he said, now I'm glad I did, because you guys were great, and you didn't you weren't pushy about things. And I was like, no, man, we're just, like I said, we try to be as laid back as possible, man, because it's to me, it's like, if I'm giving you a platform to do your thing, then I shouldn't be trying to overtake it with anything that we're, we're doing. Of course, we talk about other things that kind of go off the rail sometimes. That's fine, but I'm just saying I don't take over the show and be like, you know, well, here at Metalheads we've done this and we've done that, and they take over the fucking show, and then he don't get to say anything about the man. So I mean, that's well, I mean, because sometimes you get into and watching some of these documentaries and stuff, and I'm just like, I've actually watched a couple, and it's like, okay, what the fuck happened? I don't know what the fuck happened. Y'all going off on a tangent on something else, and you're like focused on something else, and then it's like almost like one thing I watched recently. They focused on I guess the killer or whatever he was, and the hell they never did say what happened to the fucking chick that lived or anything. Like there's a chick that lived. I'm like, okay, what the fuck happened to her, man? Like, so that's what I was saying is like we try to of course it's hard to do in an hour and a half, 2 hours is getting everything possible in, but it's a conversation that we enjoy, and and hopefully the band, all the bands that we've talked to said that they thought it was great. So I mean that's always kind of what we're looking for. We're not, I don't ever want to, I'm sure somebody at some point is not going to be like, I ain't going back to that shit again.
I mean, well, sure, yeah.
Because we're not perfect either. So
nope.
I mean,
it's
and then we got a lot of we got a few people that's kind of like we were sitting, me and Chris looking at each other going, okay, we're going to pull anything out of this guy. So it's kind of
we've had a couple interviews that started off a little slow.
yeah. So. But luckily, we got through it, and they got they got their info out there, and everything that they need to do to push the band out there. So
yep.
All right, we're gonna get an hour in, and we're not even gonna talk about anything we're doing this week. So all right, that's the show. See y'all there.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we better kick off some birthdays here, get this thing rolling in the right direction here before we wind up talking about nonsense all day. So
yeah.
But I got the birthdays from the 23rd through the 29th. November 23rd, I had Patrick Mamelli, vocalist and guitarist for Pestilence. Chris Adler, drummer for Lamb of God and Burden of Priest. If you don't know, those are the same bands. 1994 to 2018. We had our good friend Guillermo Esquerdo, vocalist and guitarist for Angel Sapatrita, which we, talk about a lot. That we kind of carry the flag for those guys, man. They use amazing fucking bands. I'm pretty sure it's not probably a lot of people that. I mean, I guess there probably may still be some people that don't know who they are, but I mean, for the most part, I think they're.
It's not because of us,
right?
If they don't know who Angels Have a Treat are, it's not because of us.
That's on their own. That's for their own fault, right there.
Yeah, there it is.
Then we had November 24th, we had Tony Rambola, guitarist for Godsmack, Rob Nicholson, session and touring bassist for Rob Zombie and Ozzy Osbourne, Russell John Parrish, or of course, all know him as Satchel, guitarist for Steel Panther. November 25th, we had Casey Smith, guitarist and backing vocals for Danger Danger. We had, I'm going to kill this name probably, Lala Freshnick, drummer for Burning Witches. November 27th, we had probably one of the best guitarists to ever live, Jimi Hendrix. Of course, he passed away in 1970.
Way too soon.
Oh, my dude. He'd have been 83, I think they said, if he was still alive, which it would be unreal to see. To me, like from what they did in the 70s or 60s and 70s to now, it's like so much stuff has changed progressively with the way you play guitar. It would be crazy to see what his ass could still do now.
I mean, just the what ifs, the Randy Rhoads and Jimi Hendrix what ifs. I mean, come on, man. I mean, Jimi Hendrix was 27 when he died.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably didn't have whammy bars on guitars in the 60s.
Just the what ifs from those two. I mean, man.
Yeah. And tell me you can't listen to a Jimi Hendrix song that was written in 65 or something and not say, man, that's pretty fucking metal for 1960.
It was ahead of its time. It was ahead of its time.
Also on November 27th, we had Charlie Benante, drummer for Anthrax and Pantera. We had Mike Puffy Borden, drummer for Faith No More. Tim Young, drummer for Vital Remains and I Am Morbid, and then Miles Kennedy, vocalist for Alter Bridge and the Conspirators with Slash and the Conspirators, I guess is what it's called. Just to give you a heads up, if you're a drummer, if you want to have a drummer in the family, just give birth to him in November. So,
Right. Yeah. Right.
uh, November 28th, I didn't have anything for the 26th. Then. Okay, yeah. So November 28th, we had Matt Cameron, drummer for Soundgarden from 86 to 97. Then he was with Pearl Jam from 98 to 2025, which is kind of crazy. Like he went from one of the big grunge bands to another.
Yeah.
uh, then we had Fenriz, a instrumentalist and vocalist for Dark Throne. Satir, vocalist, guitarist, bassist, keyboardist for Satyricon. And then we had Lisa Middlehoff, singer for is it Exandria or just Xandria?
I think it's Xandria.
Okay, they do it with a Z. Okay.
Yeah, like Xanadu. Like
yeah.
Xandria.
Okay.
That's the way I've always pronounced it. Is Xanadu.
Yeah. Well, that's why I knew you knew more about that than I did. So.
and I'm not, and I can't even guarantee that I'm saying it right.
Then we had November 29th, which is today. Masayoshi Yamashita, bass guitarist for Loudness, and then Andy LaRock, guitarist and songwriter for King Diamond.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if I missed anybody there.
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. I also want to give a shout out because my wife's birthday was this week on the 24th.
Hell yes.
So happy birthday to the misses that make all this happen. So, because without their support, we'd be in there going, okay, dear.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% true.
Oh man,
100% true.
So
Hell
if
yeah,
anybody else out there listening had a birthday, happy birthday to you as well.
Yes,
so,
happy birthday to everybody.
I know there was
Susie.
I know there was a few people in the group that had birthdays this week. So
yep.
All right. I guess that will move us into our very, very busy metal news of the week.
Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, we hate having to lead off the current event snooze with anything like this. And actually, I can't be 100% sure, but actually, this is actually. I think this is going to end up being our busiest in memoriam segment so far. Unfortunately, this actually pushes us to number 60 on the year. Wow. Over at the PRP.com, and many outlets had this, of course. But Mike Rivera, also known as Puerto Rican Mike, known for his work with District 9 and Scarhead, has passed away. Rivera is said to have spent his final days in hospice care following a heart attack. Scarhead's Danny Diablo commented on Rivera's passing yesterday, November 27th. Of course, like I say, this story was from yesterday. I actually saw it last night after I sent you everything that I had. I was like, oh shit, well, here's a new one.
I had seen it too, and I was going to like do it and send it to you, and I said, well, I'm sure he'll get it. So
yeah,
so,
oh yeah.
If you didn't, I was going to bring it up. So
yeah. All right, let's see. Danny Diablo commented on Rivera's passing yesterday, November 27th, stating, quote, I woke up today knowing that my brother has left our world. You had the same birthday as I, and we rocked in the same band for many, many of years. You made everyone laugh and everyone mad at the same time. You had a heart of gold that shined, and now you are gone. I'm glad that I said goodbye, and you met both of my sons. I love you. See you on the other side, my brother. There will never be another Puerto Rican Mike, end quote. Fellow New York hardcore vets, Madball, are among the various other artists who have shared tributes to Rivera, stating, quote, Happy Thanksgiving to all. I have much to be thankful for, but this Thanksgiving is bittersweet. Today we lost a friend, brother, and member of the NYHC family. PR Mike was a character like no other and will be missed by so many. Condolences to his daughter and family. Godspeed, my brother. Love you. Also, I'd be remiss not to mention the recent passing of my cousin, Chuchi, someone I always held near and dear to my heart. Love and miss you, cuz. Hashtag Till Valhalla. Hashtag BM forever, end quote. Not sure how old Mike was. And like I say, the alleged cause of death was a heart attack. So yeah, that brings us up to number 60 on the year. A couple. Let me do this real quick. Since I don't have stories, but there were actually some that happened while, and I've talked about them on the Metalhead Minute, but we didn't have, we've had guests the last 3 weeks, so we haven't talked about these in story form. But Donna Jean Godshaw Grateful Dead vocalist. She passed away on the 2nd from cancer at age 78. Chris Bradley, Savage vocalist and bassist, died on the 6th due to complications from a long-term illness, age unknown. And then Mark Van Kalenberg, Crossfire guitarist, died on the 25th. Not sure what of the cause or his age. So there were a few that happened during like the last couple weeks that we didn't talk about on the show because we didn't have a normal show like we are now due to guests. But we want to talk about those anyway. So, and they'll all be included in the in memoriam, of course. But yeah, we are up to 60 now, with a little more than a month to go. So,
man. It's always harder to lose people around the holidays too. It seems like that's like I don't know, for some reason it seems like that's a popular trend though, is to people just to pass away. I mean, during a holiday season, it makes it harder for the people that are still here to carry on through the holidays too, because now you got to think about that every holiday. And
my maternal grandmother died a couple of years ago on Thanksgiving morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was Susie's grandmother died. I was thinking on her birthday or after her birthday one year, and it was close to Thanksgiving too. I think it was the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just you never know, man. So spend time with those family members and while you can, because it's people preach about that, but when you live it, it's a whole different story. You can't go back and do anything about it once they're gone. So
no, you can't.
I think about it all the time, dude. Like, I'm trying to get myself together where I can go and visit people more, because it's I got to get myself healthy first, though. So
true.
All right, I guess one of the big news stories of the week is Arch Enemy is split with Elisa White Glues. Singer has announced a solo album as well. White Glues and the band announced the news separately on social media earlier in the week. After 12 years in Arch Enemy, we have parted ways, wrote White Glues in a statement. Quote, "I am forever thankful to those thousands of amazing fans I have met along the way. Thank you, Beastlings." She continued, "I can't wait to share what I've been working on with all of you, and with some big surprises in store. Stay tuned for big news in 2026 and see you very soon." End quote. Soon after the announcement, she dropped her first solo single, which I think it was like within hours after she announced it. I think that shit showed up on YouTube. I'm like, wow, that was quick. The Room Where She Died, co-written with guitarist Oliver Pilati from Camelot and Doro. She added that it would be followed by a solo album. White Glue said, quote, "The Room Where She Died is a song that feels truly satisfying to me, like I get to express myself in so many ways that have been dormant for years. This upcoming album is diverse, and I love the idea of opening up this new chapter with this song and video, which I wrote the script for. Can't wait to share more with you." End quote. The band offered their own short statement. Quote, "Arch Enemy, I parted ways with the singer Elisa White Lewis. We're thankful for the time and music that we've shared, and wish her all the best. Wherever there is an end, there's also a new beginning. See you in 2026. End quote. White Blues joined Arch Enemy in 2014, replacing former singer Angela Goslow. She sang on 4 albums: 2014's War Eternal, 2017's Will to Power, 2022's Deceivers, and this year's Blood Dynasty. White Lewis has made several guest appearances with other artists during her time with Arch Enemy, including Nita Strauss, Baby Metal, and Charlotte Wessels. She recently joined forces with Soundgarden guitarist Kim Thayil and Anthrax drummer in online tribute project King Ultra Mega, covering Soundgarden's The Day I Tried to Live. Arch Enemy have yet to review who will replace White Glues, so we will keep you updated once that happens, I guess. Yeah. Well, I do know it's not going to be the original singer.
Right.
He already ruled that out. So.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Johan Leva will not be coming back. So.
He actually said that, he said, "I think Alyssa was perfect for the band." So, I don't know where they go from here. So.
I don't know. And I don't disagree. It was very surprising when I saw that. So.
Yeah, I was like, I seen it one morning. I had to go over and look on the Metalheads group page, and I said, "Damn, Chris hadn't seen it yet. Oh, I get one ahead of him today."
Yeah, yeah. So,
but yeah, I was very surprised. Like, man, I seen that. And I said, "What the hell?"
Yeah, no, that was a big surprise.
Yeah, so,
I mean, you never know what happens behind the scenes with bands. I mean, and if everything that has come out from both sides, from Alyssa and from the band. I mean, of course, both statements have been short, but both statements have, there's really no signs of any animosity that we can tell. So,
I did
You
hear
know,
the rest of the band and Arch Enemy had a cookout afterwards. So
well, there you go. Who knows?
uh, well, I said that because Alyssa White Liz is vegetarian. So
Yeah, no, I know. But,
just in case
I
nobody
mean,
caught that.
well,
uh,
honestly, who knows? I mean, who knows if that is or isn't a factor? I mean, it could be.
I mean, I think they
It
know
could
this. I
be.
think they know she's been that way for a long time. So I mean,
Well,
it's
yeah.
not.
I mean, I would like to think that was
I
probably
wouldn't. I
addressed. That
wouldn't.
was probably addressed pretty early on.
Yeah, and I wouldn't think that they would be disrespectful toward that, and or vice versa. I don't think that she, so I'm vegetarian. Y'all guys need to quit eating meat. I'm not sure she wasn't. Sure, I would hope she wasn't like that.
I
So I
seriously
mean,
doubt it, especially not being in the band for
a
12
founding
years.
member, yeah. It's like,
Being in the band for 12 years, and like I say, I'm sure that was addressed pretty early on. You know,
it's like, look,
so,
we eat barbecue, motherfucker. Like,
yeah, you do you, but yeah, we're gonna,
right.
yeah, but I'm eating a hamburger, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right,
I mean, the new stuff doesn't sound too much off, really, from what she had been doing with Arch Enemy, I guess.
yeah,
But I think maybe the only thing I can think of is maybe because it did sound like they kind of trended back toward some older sounding stuff on the last album, and I think she was more. I think she was more diverse on the Deceivers album, and
yeah,
then of course Blood Dynasty kind of went back more toward the original sound, of Arch Enemy. And I don't know, maybe she wasn't on board with doing that anymore. I don't know. I mean,
maybe, yeah,
like
maybe not.
we talk about how your voice, can only carry you so far with that kind of singing. So I mean,
Yeah, and she is 40 now, so
well, that's what I'm saying. She's been doing
yeah,
it for 12 years. So
long
well,
time.
actually longer than that because she was in the Agonists before that.
Yeah,
And they're
she's
kind
been
of
doing it
similar,
for
kind of similar. So
yeah, and hell, that band is Michael Lamont's band, so
well, right, yeah. So I mean, he's not gonna. They're not gonna quit for sure. I mean, they're gonna
no,
they're
no,
gonna find a replacement. So
yeah, they will.
you know.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of people have talked about, of course, it's all speculation, but there are a lot of people because Johan he ruled out a return almost right away, and
Yeah.
like you said, gave Alyssa an endorsement, But a lot of people are talking about how Angela might come back. She might not. I don't know, but honestly, I hope they bring in another female vocalist. I do. I hope they bring in another female. Of course, I mean,
How how fitting would it be for Vicky Sarakas to come?
that was exactly where I was going. That's exactly where I was going. Because the
Because
Agonists
the
broke up.
Agonists, yeah, they're done. So
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
broke up. So I mean, why not?
that would be hilarious, dude.
Why
Honestly.
not? That's what I'm saying. I mean, she could do it, and I honestly think that especially with the way that because I became a fan of Arch Enemy during Angela Gossow's tenure with the band, and I actually went back and listened to their stuff with Johan, and I honestly the way it's weird to me because the way that Michael Amott writes everything with his guitar harmonies and everything, it's strange because I mean it's almost like a male vocalist doesn't fit it doesn't fit the music. It's strange. So I hope that whoever Michael brings in, I hope it's another female vocalist who can sing both styles. Who can do gutturals and can sing clean. So I know that Vicky can do it. She did it in the Agonist. After Alyssa left. So she's actually a pretty decent candidate. I would think.
Yeah, I would think so.
Her previous band is split up. So I mean, I don't see why not. I don't see why not.
I don't either.
But I don't.
We'll see what happens.
I also don't see Michael waiting too long.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like she's not doing anything. So I mean, she could go to work right away. I guess.
Yeah, she could. Yeah. So I mean, I don't see Michael and Angela waiting too long to make a decision because Angela's still managing the band. So.
Right.
So we'll see. It'll be interesting. All right. Now we've talked. We've mentioned on the show before that there are certain things that we talk about that we don't necessarily agree with, and Marilyn Manson and Ian Watkins perfectly come to mind, but it's stuff that happens and it's in the news, and when it's in the news, it needs to be talked about, no matter how you feel about it or whatever. And this next story is a perfect example. Over at the PRP, Peacemaker Florida have issued a statement regarding the status of their former guitarist Joseph Schultz, previously a member of Tactosa. The 24-year-old musician was booked on October 17th, 2025 on numerous charges of, quote, possession of a Jesus Christ. All right. Possession of a sexual performance by a child enhanced, and, quote, possession of pornography involving animals. His inmate ID record available at the Volusia County, Florida's Division of Corrections website lists 20 charges of this nature, with 15 charges stemming from child-related content and 5 related to animals. In a statement shared on November 25th, as these allegations began to spread across Reddit and more, Peacemaker Florida offered, quote, Joseph Schultz is no longer a part of Peacemaker. We removed him from the lineup 2 months ago before the recent reports surfaced. Peacemaker has always stood firmly against the kind of vile behavior now being alleged. Our music has never shied away from calling it out. We write about confronting and destroying it in our lyrics, and that's woven into who we are. Our principles aren't changing, and our stance on this is permanent. We are focusing on what's ahead and gearing up for a massive 2026. See you soon, end quote. Tactosa previously dissolved under disturbing allegations back in 2023 that were lodged against the band's then vocalist Kyle Whedon. Let's see. Oh, okay. I thought there was more to the story, but there's actually not. I thought they were going to go a little more into into this, but I guess they're not.
That band can't catch a break.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, that's well, I posted this, in the group when it first came out, and the caption that I added to the story was that this dude deserves everything that happens to him and more. And I stand by that, because that's just absolutely abhorrent and vile. So
animals too, though.
I mean,
that's pretty sick shit.
No, it is. And that dude better hope when he gets in jail, people don't find out what he did, because he'll get the Ian Watkins treatment.
Oh yeah, he won't be around too long. So
stupid, man. Fucking stupid.
All right, moving over to Metal Injection. Cradle of Filth has been having a rough go of things in the public eye. It all started when keyboardist and vocalist Zoe Marie Fedorov quit mid-tour on August 24th with her husband and Cradle of Filth guitarist Marek Ashok Smyrna following shortly thereafter. Following their exits, Fedorov and Smyrna took to social media with allegations of inadequate pay, a threatening work environment, and an unfair contract they said they refused to sign. Danny Filth responded in late August with accusations of his own, claiming alcohol misuse by the couple and sharing messages involving Des Fafara. By September, both sides issued statements suggesting a de-escalation of their dispute, but tensions continued to simmer beneath the surface. On November 26th, a new escalation surfaced when reports circulated that several former Cradle of Filth members had united to file a lawsuit against Danny Filth, the band's affiliated business entities, and the Oracle Management, which and then filed in Arizona on September 30th, 2025, and amended on November 20th. The suit's plaintiffs include Fedorov, Smyrna, and longtime guitarist Paul Allender, former guitarist and vocalist Lindsey Matheson, and former guitarist Richard Shaw and Sasha Baxter, who appeared in 2 of the band's music videos. The lawsuit alleges a wide range of misconduct, unauthorized commercial use of the plaintiff's likeness, unpaid royalties for their live performances and recorded works, misuse of Matheson's copyrighted sigils, disparaging statements about Fedorov and Smyrna, and unjust enrichment from Baxter's video appearances, and from the plaintiff's involvement in meet and greets. Several plaintiffs state that they never signed agreements allowing Cradle of Filth or its management to use their names, images, or recorded contributions, yet the band allegedly profited from the material without compensation. Further claims address withheld financial accounting related to merchandise, recordings, public agreements, and paid fan events. Plaintiffs also cite more personal grievances, including the alleged destruction of Fedorov's microphone, the non-return of her in-ear monitors, and unpaid performance fees for what became the couple's final show with the band in August. The collective asserts that these actions contributed to professional, financial, and reputational harm. The plaintiffs seek broad remedies, halting and destroying merchandise bearing their likeness, holding the band liable for conversion of missing or damaged equipment, awarding compensatory and punitive damage for financial losses and emotional distress, and covering all legal fees. They also request a jury trial. The defendants have not addressed. Yeah, the defendants have not yet addressed the lawsuit. So, It's getting pretty nasty over in the cradle of Fifth Camp. Looks like so.
Well, I mean, we said when all of that first came out that was probably
Yeah,
not the last we were going to hear about
right.
this topic, and we were right. So
And it's if Danny has any kind of I guess example to go by that he can carry on, I guess he can always look at what As I Lay Down is doing now. So,
that's true.
so
This is true.
carry it on. So
Yep, that's true. All right, my next one. This is actually kind of cool for this band. Australian hardcore band Speed have found themselves $80,000 Australian, roughly $52,000 US, richer after being awarded the New South Wales Music Prize. That
nice.
government-led initiative aims to help support local musicians financially, with Speed winning the top award for having an album that made a quote-unquote significant impact in their latest outing, Only One Mode. Other finalists for that award include Rufus Du Sol, Shady Nasty, and more. Ahead of accepting the award at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Sydney, Australia on November 24th, the band imparted stated, I don't know, it's worded very weird. Quote, respectfully, our culture has never been a game nor a competition, but we are honored to receive this recognition and see this as an acknowledgement of the values cultivated by the passionate souls around us, end quote. The group also shouted out their fans and the scene and various individuals that help foster the community Speed have thrived in. Quote, in 2025, we have a whole new generation of amazing kids all over the country making Sydney and Australian hardcore the sickest it's ever been. With that being said, this award belongs to them, the people around us who make it what it is, and we'll take some time to think about the best way we can pay that forward to keep growing this the right way, end quote. So, very cool for them to do that, and it's a cool thing that they have a government-led initiative
Right.
to do that for local musicians like that. That's a cool thing in and of itself. But for the band, for a hardcore metal act, whatever you want to call them, I guess they're a hardcore act, but still for a heavy band to win the award like that, that's awesome. It's good for them.
It was pretty cool.
Yes.
All right, staying over with Metal Ingestion, the only Hall of Fame we care about. The Metal Hall of Fame has announced the lineup for its 2026 inductees, who will be honored during a special Sunset Strip event in Los Angeles on January 21st. Since its first ceremony in 2017, the Hall has focused on recognizing influential figures in hard rock and heavy metal. The 2026 class features 5 new honorees, all of whom helped shape the rock and metal landscape of the 1980s. This year's inductees include former Wasp guitarist Chris Holmes, who will be formally inducted by previous Metal Hall of Fame member Carlos Cavazo. Also being honored are Tracy Guns, founder and frontman of LA Guns, longtime Rat guitarist Warren DeMartini, and Poison drummer Ricky Rocket. Completing the class is Ricky Rackman, known for hosting MTV's Headbangers Ball and for owning the famed 80s Sunset Strip Club at the Cat House. The evening will feature not only the induction presentations, but also an all-star jam performance as part of the celebration. Metal Hall of Fame founder and CEO Pat Gesualdo, I guess that's how you pronounce that, Gesualdo, yeah, has encouraged fans to treat the night as full-on 80s metal party, urging them to show up in their best era-appropriated gear. Oh, we can go. Think leather studs, big hair, and plenty of metal attitude, while pointing out that the event will unite 2 legendary venues into one memorable experience. Festivities kick off with a celebrity red carpet at the iconic Rainbow Bar and Grill on the Sunset Strip, then move next door to the Roxy Theater for the main ceremony of the All-Star Jam. Eddie Trunk of SiriusXM and entertainment personality Kathy Rankin are set to co-host the event. Over nearly a decade, the Metal Hall of Fame has enshrined major names such as Judas Priest, Lemmy Kilmister, Ronnie James Dio, Anthrax, and Twisted Sister, along with standout musicians including Randy Rhoads, Steve Vai, Mike Portnoy, Tom Morello, Joe Satriani, Billy Sheehan, Mick Mars, Marty Friedman, Bill Ward, Jordan Rudess, and David Ellefson. The organization has also honored bands like Exodus, Anvil, Testament, Halloween, Metal Church, Armored Saint, Biohazard, Saxon, and Striper, as well as notable vocalists such as Jeff Tate, Stephen Pearcy, Don Dokken, Lita Ford, and Sebastian Bach. So just hearing all those names and like, okay, this is a real rock metal hall of fame. So,
yeah.
yeah. So very cool, and it's and congratulations on Ricky Rabbit. I think it's kind of long overdue,
Yeah, a little bit.
but better late than never, I guess. So
Well, at least he's still alive.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
So
they didn't do what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame does with a lot of their inductees. Like, oh, he's dead now. Yeah, we can induct him.
yeah, yeah.
Stupid.
Well, I think even if Bruce Dickinson's dead, Iron Maiden ain't getting in. So.
I'm gonna bring this back up a little in a little while later because when we get to the album review section, there's something that else that
Okay.
Angela and I watched the other night that I want to talk about. So
Okay.
that's gonna come up too. So
Okay. Cool.
but it would be cool to actually go to the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame.
It would be cool. Yeah.
That'd be one
Maybe
worth going to.
maybe that's a bucket list trip I need to make too. So.
Agreed. Yeah. All right, my next one. Oh, by the way, all of my stories today are from the PRP. That's just how it worked out. So, it is what it is. So, Gojira vocalist and guitarist Joe Duplantier recently suffered an injury to his right hand, which required minor surgery. In light of that, he'll be unable to fully perform his parts in their entirety during his Grammy Award-winning progressive metal band's impending tour of their native France. Those fall shows will still go down as planned, however, albeit with a helping hand from none other than Greg Kubacki, guitarist of fearsome mathcore outfit Carbomb. Joe said on Instagram in a post made on November 23rd, quote, "A message from Joe. Hey, I hurt my hand a few weeks ago. After getting minor surgery, I'm on the mend, but unfortunately, I won't be able to play all my guitar parts on the next tour in France. No worries, though. We hired our good friend Carbomb Greg of the incredible @Carbomb Official to quote unquote give us a hand. See what I did there. The mood in our camp is up there, though, as we're embarking for an interesting experience on our own turf. Show must go on." End quote. The extra exposure for Kuhn. What's his name? They've got it Kubaki Kun. Okay, they have this guy's last name spelled different. Kubaki Kunlagi. I guess it's Kubaki. I'm not sure. The extra exposure for Kubaki is certainly is serendipitous. Just last week, he announced his new solo project, Sun Guts. That reveal was paired with the debut of the title track from Sun Guts' upcoming debut album, Kilo Nova, due out February 10th. Gojira's aforementioned French tour with Comeback Kid and Neckbreaker opening, hitting the following cities, and the dates are below. They've actually got the first couple of dates, taken care of already, the 27th and 28th. But the tour continues tomorrow and ends December 12th. So, and I know we did talk about that during the Hitting the Road segment when it was first announced. So, no need to rehash every single date. So,
right.
But good for Joe though that it was just minor, and he'll be back up and running soon. So,
cool. Well. Seeing as how we're playing into this injury stuff, I guess I'll talk about the one I got from Metal Sucks. Shit happens on the road. People get sick, bones get broken, and unfortunately, tour dates suffer as a result. That is, unless you're Entheos, multi-instrumentalist and live drummer Naveen Copperwise. Then a broken ankle suffered in a freak accident barely causes you to slow down. Entheos is currently out on their headlining tour with Fallujah, the Zenith Passage, and Tracheotomy. During their run, Copperweiss apparently broke his ankle, causing some to think some drastic measures would be needed to keep their tour going if it could go on at all. But that was before our guy came out and said, "Nah, fuck that. I didn't hear no bell." At least that's how I imagine it went down. Here's how he explained it, though. Quote, "Last night after our set, I was grabbing some hoodies for a restock. Then I jumped off of the trailer. I landed on a curb and I didn't see and managed to fracture my ankle. I'm going to try to play today at sound check and just play everything more stripped down on the double bass. And if that doesn't work, then I'll play the kicks on the tracks. No matter what, we aren't missing any shows. This is the best tour of my life, and the show must go on." End quote. Kick ass, dude. Stay safe out there and make the break. Don't make the break worse. If you'd like to support this sort of badass, you can catch Entheos at their final headlining tour, which are going on this month, and they actually will be ending that in Nashville on the 6th at the end. So, which is kind of their hometown now, as we found out during interviewing Cheney this year. So
that's right.
So Hopefully he'll back up, and I mean he ain't got much more to go, so hopefully he'll get
Yeah, but of all things for a drummer to break, a foot.
right. Yeah, well, I mean it could have been a hand, I guess.
Well, I mean, I was just about to say, there's really no good break a drummer can have, but
yeah, unless you got three hands. And,
yeah, it's true.
uh,
All right. My next one. A forcibly grabby audience member incurred the wrath of Haywire vocalist Austin Sparkman during the band's set at the Revolution Calling Festival in Eindhoven, Netherlands on November 22nd. In the below footage, which you'll have to go check out for yourself, in the below footage, the stage rushing fan can initially be seen wrapping his arm around Sparkman mid-song. While Sparkman didn't seem to be disturbed by the initial interaction, it was when the fan began forcibly grabbing at the mic from Sparkman's hand and began singing that the singer physically retaliated, punching the fan in the face and pushing him back into the audience. By the looks of the footage below, it would appear that the fan either lost a tooth or some gum in the exchange, as an object can be seen flying out of his mouth upon the impact of Sparkman's fist. The incident saw Sparkman a bit more reserved with the future stage rushers that followed in the immediate aftermath, at one point kicking one as they dove off back into the audience. Luckily for the fans who felt the wrath of Sparkman, he didn't employ some of his more devastating onstage moves. Interestingly, it wasn't the only violent altercation to play out during Haywire's set, as things got physical between members of Death Before Dishonor and a photographer, which there's a hyperlink in the story for that. So maybe let's talk about this. That's a YouTube video. Never mind. But so it sounds like it was an interesting show in the Netherlands, but it might be worth checking a couple of the hyperlinks in the story to see what actually went down. But there's a couple of stills in the story. The first one is the guy with his arm around the singer and going for the microphone, and the next one is like is Austin Sparkman's follow through on the punch, and something flew out of dude's mouth.
That's crazy.
So I mean, I'm not saying I necessarily condone, but I understand. I definitely understand. I definitely understand, why, because, it's one thing to get up on stage and start singing with the guy, but then, you start yanking at the microphone and everything. And he's lucky dude didn't punch him when he wrapped his arm around him. Cause I mean, I don't think any performer on stage really wants to be touched while they're
performing. No, I mean, you don't want to be bum rushed at all. I mean, that's kind of, Dave Chappelle and, seen that happen with him.
Oh,
Matt Rife, I think he got charged over in England somewhere, I think. And
I think you're right.
It was crazy. I seen a video of that. It was crazy because the person leaped over a security guard sitting right in front of the stage and got to Matt. Almost got to Matt. The guy come from out of nowhere and tackled the guy and shoved him off to the. And Matt Rife was like, "What the fuck?" He was. Then he reached down and was telling the security guard. He said, "You fired, dog. They did just jump right over you. You're fired, right?"
Yeah. I would say
it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny, but it's just I don't know why people think that they have to feel it. I mean, you want to be just go be a comedian then, quit fucking trying to take over somebody else's spotlight. I mean, that's how they make their money. So they don't come to your job and flip the fries for you, shit.
Right. And I mean, if you hate a comedian that much, I mean, just
I think it's just
don't go to the show. Don't go to the show.
I'm sure a lot of it's alcohol infused. I'm sure, but
Well, yeah, you're probably right.
So the people don't know their limits. So
know when to say when.
That's right. All right, my last one, which in your case is never. So So my last one over from Metal Hammer. This was pretty interesting, I thought. The UK government has confirmed it will introduce laws that ban the selling of secondary concert and event tickets for a profit. After a consultation period, the country's Labour-led government has revealed the bold move, which goes further than previously anticipated. It was thought the rules would cap any secondary sale profits at 30%, but the government has now announced secondary tickets will not be allowed to be sold for more than their face value. As reported by the NME, the new rules will collectively save music, sports, comedy, and theater fans millions of pounds every year. Secondary ticket platforms such as Viagogo and will also be banned from adding massive fees, and they'll face heavy fines if they flout the rules. UK Cultural Secretary Lisa Nandy tells the NME, "quote We promised when we were elected that it would be time up for ticket touts. It's a good day. People will obviously be able to resell their tickets, but not for any more than the price they paid for it. They'll have to sell it for face value. You do get lots of people who later find out they can't go to a gig or sporting event, and we want to make sure that they can still sell their ticket. They won't be able to add any extra fees or money that they add, add on any more money than they paid, but they will be able to get their money back." End quote. Explaining how the rules will be enforced, Nancy adds, "quote There will be powers for the Competition and Markets Authority (CMA) to be able to fine platforms up to 10% of their annual income if they're not complying." Damn, the CMA will
Yeah,
intervene, and it could result in multi-million pound fines for rogue firms wherever they're based in the world. Man, that is awesome, dude. I wish they would do that shit here. And
I do too.
that, Ticketmaster and Live Nation, all that shit, they would, have to stop doing all that bullshit. So
They need to.
they do.
I like it.
They absolutely do. That's like one
I
of the
love
best.
that.
I think that's the best story I've read all year.
I would say it's definitely up there.
Oh man,
That is a great idea.
yeah. And like I said, hopefully America kind of sees it and follows through with the same stuff, so we can kind of keep people from, and that probably keeps bots from buying shit too. You know what I mean? So
Well, yeah. I mean, they need to do that. They need to do that. They need to follow suit with that decision, and they really need to crack down on this bot thing. It's ridiculous.
mhm. Well,
It's
it needs to go back. And
ridiculous.
honestly, I wouldn't care if it went back to the old way where you had to stand in line and get a ticket. I don't give a
I
shit.
would be fine with that. I would. I'd be fine with that. I'm kind of. And I know this from both of us is probably at this point sounds like old man yelling at clouds, but but I don't care. I don't care. I'm getting to the point where, it's, yeah, let's just go back to, you go to the venue, buy your ticket, or whatever. It's just, I mean, if you want to go that bad, get off your ass and go physically buy your ticket.
Well, that's just like I like the way like that Zanies does their thing. I don't know if you've been there in a while, but now it's all like you don't get a ticket anymore. It's all at the door.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. So like once all the seats are sold out, whatever the capacity is, they sell out and they don't sell tickets for it anymore.
Right, and
So if
that's
you,
it.
you
Yeah.
don't show up, then tough shit. I mean, because there ain't no ticket to sell.
I do. I actually don't mind that. I don't mind it. The
So,
only thing that pisses me off about Zanies, and I'm sure a lot of comedy clubs are like this, but the only thing that I don't like about Zanies is that they make you buy two. It's a 2 item
right.
minimum. I don't like
Yeah.
that, because like when Angela and I go, we want to go to like see a show and then go snag dinner, but doesn't really make any sense to do that because you have to buy. Because each of us has to buy 2 items. And I'm sure some people are like, well, just buy a couple of drinks. Well,
Yep.
that's all well and good, but first of all, I don't drink alcohol, so I mean, I could get a couple of, if I buy a Sprite, I basically have to buy two. It
Hmm.
doesn't make any sense. So so when we go, it's like, well, screw it, we'll just we'll eat here. So I mean, I mean, it's convenient because I mean, you don't have to go to another place, but when we go out, we like to go sit at a nice place, like
Right.
my Giano's or something, and get dinner. But I mean, so that's it. That's really like a pet peeve kind of thing, really, because
Yeah.
I still go to Zanies. I still love
Well, I
going
mean,
there. But
and their food's not great either. So it's
I
like
mean, most of it is
it's bar food.
it's
So I
bar
mean,
food, yeah. So that's another thing. It's so that's what I'm saying. When you're out
you
for
want
a
to go
date night
sit
and you
down
want
and
to,
have a real meal with
right, yeah. So
chicken and
the fact that you absolutely
steak or
have to,
something.
yeah, that you absolutely have to buy 2 items minimum. That kind of annoys me.
Yeah.
But I'll still go. Zanies is an awesome place. It really
Yeah,
is.
just so you know,
Aside from that, it's awesome. But
the last time we went, we got 4 drinks and it was still like $25 or something. So
right, yes. I
I was
mean,
like, Jesus.
yeah, it's yeah, it's not cheap. All right, my last story is kind of like a this is kind of like a he said they said kind of thing. I
It's all about
posted
the
this
East
over in the
bullshit.
yeah. So I posted the first part of this over at the group, but the other half has since fired back. So from the 24th, from 5 days ago, Vitriol's lineup volatility has continued, and like the last time, has once played out in dramatic fashion. According to guitarist Keith Merrow, who joined the band this past March, he and recently recruited bassist Matt Lyer and drummer Andy Vincenzetti have all exited the band's current tour. What's more, in this staged mass exodus, they effectively abandoned the band's founder, frontman, guitarist Kyle Rasmussen at a gas station in Vermont. Merrow took to his social media on the 24th to state the following, quote, "He fucked around and found out. I'll be home for Thanksgiving, baby. Sorry, Vitriol fans. We had to abandon him at a gas station in Vermont. Myself, Andy, Brett, and Matt will not take Kyle's cowardly and weak outbursts of misplaced anger. We gave everything we had, and now have now left you with nothing. Mass exodus. This was the darkest day of my music career to date," end quote. A personal statement from Vincenzetti shared on his Instagram on the 24th read, quote, "Onwards and upwards, played some sick death metal and got to meet even sicker people. Thanks for all the messages. I'll answer all of y'all as soon as I can. Just focused on driving back safe to Portland from New York. Much love," end quote. All three of the musicians mentioned above had joined the band this year. Interestingly, this isn't the first mid-tour departure to be experienced by the technical death metal outfit. In September of 2024, then bassist vocalist Adam Roethlisberger quit the band. In the wake of that departure, Rasmussen shouldered some of the responsibility for that exit, stating, quote, "After a very rocky start to the tour, Adam felt it was time to call it a day. It was the straw upon the camel's back of a long and difficult working relationship with myself. I can be a difficult person to work with," end quote. As of press time, Rasmussen has yet to publicly respond to this latest round of exits. Vitriol themselves were out on their first ever North American headlining tour with Weeping opening. Merrow issued that band an apology on social media for today's development, stating, "Safe travels, guys. I really enjoyed the hangs. Really sorry." Then, a little while after that, Vitriol vocalist guitarist Kyle Rasmussen has newly issued a video statement in which he gives his own side of the events that unfolded this week during the technical death metal band's North American touring. In a post shared to his social media this morning, November 24th, so it was the same day, the band's guitarist Keith Merrow revealed that he, bassist Matt Lyer, and drummer Andy Vincenzetti all exited the band en masse today, proceeding to ditch Rasmussen at a gas station in Vermont. That's still, it sucks for him, but it's still kind of funny. Let's see. Rasmussen's reply emerged in the form of a video just over 40 minutes, which was live streamed and can be seen below. As transcribed by Lambgoat with additional editing by the PRP.com, Rasmussen outlined his side of the matter. So this is just bullet points. Obviously, we're not talking about the whole 40 minutes. All right, there's a few bullet points. Some key takeaways from his lengthy side of the situation include allegations that the band had been partaking in cocaine and were sleep deprived and frazzled from touring prior to a heated argument and subsequent physical altercation taking place between himself and Merrow. He claimed that Merrow threatened to stab him in the neck during this altercation. Allegations that in an attempt to physically accost him, Merrow physically shoved aside Kyle's girlfriend, who was on tour with them in the RV. Rasmussen claimed that the band involved a state trooper to assist with ejecting him, his girlfriend Maggie, and the couple's dog Ghost from the RV. He also claimed that Merrow and company effectively left him, Maggie, and Ghost at a closed ice cream store in New York and not Vermont, as the now former members of the band had claimed. Rasmussen also admitting to having his own anger problems and partaking in therapy regularly to try to address them. Rasmussen claimed that Merrow had been spreading lies about him to people in the band's inner circle, and Rasmussen disputed the claims. He also went on to say that despite his attempts to resolve the animosity, the exiting members of the band rejected him and abandoned him with no money. The latter financial shortcomings stemmed from Rasmussen putting Merrow being put in charge of the band's finances. Rasmussen went on to say he, his girlfriend, and the dog had been abandoned with substantial amount of musical gear and merch and are intending to go put up a GoFundMe to help get them back home to Oregon. It's a long fucking way home. Rasmussen states that Vitriol faced an uncertain future and he plans to take some time off to assess the situation. As for, holy shit, I'm not reading this whole thing. Good Lord, I think the whole transcript is here. Yeah, I'm not reading this whole thing. Not reading this whole thing. It's definitely a TLDR kind of thing. So yeah. I'm not reading that whole thing. As for as for the aforementioned uh, GoFundMe, there's a story about that. After finding himself abandoned by his now former bandmates mid-tour in New York earlier this week, vitriol frontman Kyle Rasmussen is headed home to Portland, Oregon. Rasmussen was intentionally left by his bandmates and an abandoned ice cream shop / gas station in Redwood, New York, following a heated altercation. That, according to Rasmussen, was fueled by cocaine, lack of sleep, and tensions running high. Let's see. Where is there? Oh, here we go. Ultimately, they launched this GoFundMe, which went on to raise $10,869 on a $2,500 US dollar goal as of press time. So, there you go. Let's see. Speaking via that campaign this past Tuesday, November 25th, Rasmussen relayed that they planned to put this funds toward the purchase of a used car, and so they can get home. So, yeah. He got some money and is finding his way home. So
it's kind of shitty just to leave somebody there, though, man. I mean, quitting in the middle of the tour is one thing, but just leaving him, like, especially when he was trusting you with the band's finances, and then you should at least left him enough money to get home. That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's true, but so who knows? This is probably going to be. This might be an ongoing saga in and of itself. So
probably.
But that's all of that was my last story. So
Jesus. All right, there's some other headlines we could talk about here. Anthrax's new album is done and being mixed. It's a very New York album, whatever that means. And if you're any fan of the Queen of the Damned, they had a sick soundtrack for that movie.
It was very good. I actually have it on CD downstairs,
and it's actually about to come back on to vinyl. So be on the lookout for that if you're a fan. So Silosis announced a new album and streamed the title track called "The New Flesh," which is pretty good. It's actually on our playlist this week. Kirk Hammett's guitar from the Black Sabbath's Back to the Beginning concerts sold for over $76,000. That's pretty cool. I don't know if any of that went. I don't know if it went to charity or what they did with it. I mean,
probably did.
I'm sure he don't need it. I mean,
no. I guarantee. I would almost guarantee you he donated that to the charity. It's probably going to go as part of the
to the same charity.
As part of the $11 million.
I would think so. Make Them Suffer vocalist leaves stage mid-show due to an illness. He actually blacked out for a few minutes during the concert performance. So they, I think they actually canceled the next day as well to see if.
I think I think you're right. Yeah.
So hopefully he's recouped now and back on tour. So Millie Petroza says the new riffs pushed him a little bit above his limits on the new Creator album coming up. So I can't wait to hear that then. Shit.
Yeah.
According to Glenn Hughes, this one kind of pissed me off. According to Glenn Hughes and Slayer's Kerry King, the rock and metal talent pool is drying up. So I don't know what the fuck they're listening to, but we'll talk about this more in album reviews too, probably. But I'm just like, I don't. They said they haven't heard anything that really interested them. I'm just like, because you're an old grumpy motherfucker that's getting pushed out because these younger talents are coming in. That's how it works.
I mean, honestly, no disrespect meant, but that might be part of it.
I mean, it is.
It might be.
I mean, we talk about guitarists on this show all the time that just recently that are fucking unreal, dude. Like.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the stuff with the Mesro, and then probably be talking about it later today. But I'm just saying, there's not to get ahead of myself, but I mean, there's a lot of good guitarists out there, man. That we've talked. I mean,
Ari Yuki from Jet Jaguars, an amazing guitarist.
Dude, that shit. Yeah, that dude's ridiculous.
I mean, it's mind-boggling.
Then you got Tony from Hellfire, and those guys haven't been around super long. So I mean,
and then our buddy Joey from Valkyrie's Fire. I mean,
dude, that dude's crazy talented, dude.
So I mean, I don't know what these guys are.
That's what I'm saying. They're
apparently aren't listening to, but I mean,
they're not listening to anything. Obviously, because they don't want to. They don't want to be the. They don't want it to hit them in the face saying, "Damn, these guys are fucking good.
Hmm.
But
I mean, yeah. I
so,
mean, don't get me wrong. We all love Slayer, but heavy metal
well,
doesn't
yeah.
begin and end with Slayer. So I
Well,
mean,
no, I mean it's not going to, be like just like it didn't. It may have began with Black Sabbath, but it didn't going to end there. I mean,
no.
it's going to keep going. It's kind
Hmm.
of branched out into what we see today with 30 genres of metal. So it's like,
Yeah.
not really. I don't know if it's that many, but there's a lot.
I'd say it's definitely 20 at this point.
Yeah. All
But
right,
yeah,
this one.
that's just a bad take.
Yeah, I don't agree with it at all. But then we had next one says ex-American head charge singer Cameron Heacock has been found living on the streets, which that's pretty sad. I mean, that's
Yeah.
newly reunited Iron Reagan to perform at the Milwaukee Metal Fest. That's pretty cool. I like
That's
that band.
cool.
I don't know if you've ever listened to them. They're actually
I
pretty
don't
good.
think I have.
The Devil Wears Prada cancels Vienna date due to Mike Haranica hospitalization. So man, it's like a lot of these bands are. I don't know if they're getting dehydrated out there or what they're doing, but
Right.
I didn't see. I think there wasn't anything listed on that. They just made a thing saying, "Hey, we got to cancel the Vienna date in a couple of days because we want to make sure Mike's recuperated." They never did say what happened to him, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll try to make a note out beside of everything to see. So I make sure I mention what happened, but they didn't mention anything in the story. So
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne's Freedom of the City of Birmingham Award now displayed at the Working Class Hero exhibition. So
Awesome.
that's pretty cool. Kerry King's second solo album will probably be recorded in early 2026. We're in the process of getting the songs together, they said. So,
Yeah.
which is crazy because Death Angel's out on tour right now. So,
Yeah.
Halloween cancels the December 2025 Asian tour due to Michael Kiskay's health. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
It sucks.
So I am a very I'm 22 years out of healthcare learning, I guess you should say. So I don't see a lot of this stuff anymore because I'm not in like the doctor field. I'm in the pharmacy side, so I don't see diagnoses a lot. But this I'm gonna try to pronounce this the best I can. But he had acute pharyngolaryngotracheitis. Pharyngolaryngotracheitis, I think is how you pronounce that. I'm not sure. And asthmatic dyspnea with bronchitis. So he had a lot of breathing issues, pretty much. As a singer, you can't really go and have those things happen.
No.
So hopefully gets the care he needs and get back. It's going to be a little bit with that. Probably it's going to be, I think they canceled. Yeah, they canceled the whole
Yeah.
Asian tour.
Of course.
So yeah. So
Of course. Here's the funny thing about that. Not funny, haha, but and obviously we all want Michael to get better, and that's beyond a shadow of a doubt. But I think it's a little weird that a band that's got 3 vocalists
right,
canceled a
had to
tour.
cancel because of one.
Yeah. So, like I say, it's not. It's. I mean, I guess it's a little funny, but I mean, I do hope Michael gets better. But I mean, they do have 2 other guys who can
Right.
sing. But no, I get it though. I do get it. And it's just little. It's a little ironic,
All right, Nikki Sixx to lead post-screening conversation with If These Walls Could Rock filmmakers at Jackson Hole Film Festival. Sebastian Bach performed Skid Row's entire Slate of the Grind album in Melbourne, Australia. That's pretty cool.
I wonder how that sounded.
I mean, he don't sound too bad. I mean,
Yeah.
he sounds a lot better than fucking Axl Rose does. That's for sure.
And Vince Neil. So
Well, yeah. So he definitely hasn't lost that much of a step for sure.
yeah.
John Bottom's memorabilia, including his velvet suit, are to be auctioned off. So I'm not sure. They didn't give a link or anything for that. So I don't know when it's happening or where it's happening. But Glenn Hughes celebrates 28 years of sobriety, but I can't tell from the shitty accusation he made earlier. But
Right. Yeah.
But congratulations. That is a big deal. 28
No,
years.
that's yeah, good for him. Good for him.
And then
That's always good news. It doesn't matter if you like the band
yeah.
or not. I mean, it doesn't matter. That's above the musical aspect. I mean, when
Right.
someone can find sobriety and maintain it, that's always a good thing.
I think maintaining it's the hard part. Finding it's
Absolutely.
pretty.
Yeah.
Finding it's pretty. The first steps I feel like it's easy. It's just falling off the wagon seems to be the thing that gets everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
to be 28 years straight is pretty good. So,
Yeah.
and then sometimes I think about that too, and I'm just like, really though, like who's out here like keeping track of you know you doing anything besides you? So you just got take the person's word for it, I guess.
Well, that is true. That's true. You do have to kind of take them at their word. That's true.
Yeah. I've been 28 years sober. But I had a six pack one time in 19, or 2026 or whatever. Well, I guess it ain't 26 yet, but 2020 or something. Like,
Right.
you know. But that didn't count because I didn't get drunk. It counts because you drink.
Yeah.
Actually, I had somebody tell me that one time. Well, it don't count because I didn't get drunk. No, dude, it actually counts because you broke your
Mm-hmm.
sobriety.
Yeah.
Because you drink drinking a drink of alcohol breaks your sobriety, dude.
Yeah. It does. Yeah. It does.
I mean, to me too, this only sobriety only accounts to people that actually have had a drinking problem. Like, if you're a casual drinker and you know when to stop, that's a different story.
Oh yeah. Sure.
These people never knew when to stop. That's the
Right.
problem.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, just losing.
yeah,
Going broke,
drink,
losing
yeah,
your job,
yeah,
multiple DUIs, so I
drinking
mean,
till you're unconscious and shit.
yeah, I mean, literally having effects on your and other people around you's lives.
Right.
I mean, having a couple beers at a football game or something that does. I mean, you know, that yeah, I don't consider that a drinking problem. Like you say, that's coming from me. So,
Right.
so
Yeah.
there are definitely, it's a scale for sure.
All right, last but not least, Mark Osagueda says it will be quite some time before a new Death Angel album is released. We're still writing, so that's unfortunate. I'd rather hear that one before the Kerry King one, honestly.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Yeah.
So
Well, but at least there's writing being done,
right,
which is a good sign because there's music being written, but at the same time, because of what we heard from some of the other people in the band, Will Carroll especially, when news came out that Mark was joining Kerry King's band,
mm-hmm.
because Will Carroll was like, man, I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen and all this other stuff. He's
Right.
like, so. But it,
I think Mark's first and foremost love will be with Death Angel. I mean,
yeah.
But I think the thing is he's I think he. So this is the thing I think is going to be interesting going forward is he's under contract with Kerry King. So I think like once he realizes, okay, you're cutting into my time with Death Angel, you're going to get fucked or whatever. But
Yeah,
I'm sure he's making a lot of money
maybe
singing for Kerry King. I'm not saying that, but
yeah.
But I'm saying if it starts interfering with his Death Angel stuff, I think he might have to make a choice, which is unfortunate. But because if you think about it, I mean, Kerry King's had an album, out last year, and now we're looking at 2026 with a second one. Well, Death Angel hasn't had anything out since 2020, something like that. So it's been 5 years. So I mean,
it's been a minute.
It's time to get some. Hell, it may have even been longer than that, dude. Like.
Yeah, you may have to.
I'm gonna look real quick.
Yeah, you may have to look that up. But I mean, thankfully for Will Carroll, he's got Nefarious going on right now. So
yeah,
so he does have some stuff going on. So
I mean, they had that album out or that new single out. So I was kind of like hoping that they got a new single out. Okay, they're about to put an album out.
Yeah, that's usually a precursor, but
yeah, but wrong. So
so
they've had some stuff out, but it's all been like it was 2019. Humanicide was out. So
yeah, so hell, shit,
that's
we're going in 7 years by the time the new album comes out.
That's ridiculous, dude. Like, I mean, and you that's what I'm saying. Like Kerry King sounds like he might be a little selfish with this stuff, man.
Well, I mean. Well, here's the thing, though. Is I mean, Kerry made the offer, but Mark accepted.
Well, that's true. I mean,
so Mark could have been said, "Man, I'd love to, but I mean, I got Death Angel going on." So I mean, I don't blame anybody. I mean, Kerry made the offer, Mark accepted, and I don't exactly blame Mark for accepting.
Yeah, but I wonder if there's like a clause in there that where he can't do things to affect the other band or something. I mean, that's what I would have done if it was me.
That's what I would have done too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been like, yeah, I'll do it, but you can't do anything that's going to counter affect my band. my other project. So which it's
Right.
not his, it's not Mark's band, but you know what I mean.
Right.
So
So
anyway,
yeah.
that was all of my headline stuff.
Okay. Cool.
So I do have one thing for hitting the road, and then I'll let you take
All
off
right.
next. There was a festival lineup released during our
Oh
off
yeah.
week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, the funny thing is, it was a pretty quiet week. I got like a page and a half.
nice.
Yeah.
Following a record-breaking event in 2025 with 230,000 music fans in attendance, Welcome to Rockville returns to Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida on May 7th through 10th, 2026 for its biggest year yet. Festival producer Danny Wimmer Presents is proud to unleash the full music lineup for the event's 15th year. And the full list of bands are as follows. So, of course, there's no dates or times or anything set yet, but these are the bands that will be there. Foo Fighters, My Chemical Romance, Guns N' Roses, Bring Me the Horizon, which those are the four headliners. We just don't know which days yet. Turnstile, Five Finger Death Punch, The Offspring, Breaking Benjamin, A Day to Remember, Godsmack, Stained, Parkway Drive, Lamb of God, Yellow Card, Rise Against, All Time Low, Motionless in White, Alice Cooper, Ice Nine Kills. That's going to be interesting to have Alice Cooper and Ice Nine. That's going to be a pretty horrifying weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you got Amon Amarth. So
Right.
Amon Amarth, A Simple Plan, Lorna Shore, Coheed and Cambria, Slaughter to Prevail, Sleeping with Sirens, Hollywood Undead, Black Label Society, Highly Suspect, Dance Gavin Dance, Architects, Jason Bottom's Led Zeppelin Evening, Poppy, The Warning, Behemoth, Death Clock. Oh, well, look at that. Zach Sabbath, Flyleaf with Lacey Stern, uh, Tom Morello, Under Oath, Black Veil Brides, Mayday Parade, Sepultura, Suicidal Tendencies, Starset, Coal Chambers, Seven Dust, Yellow Wolf, Bad Flower, Story of the Year, Plain White Tees, Avatar, In Flames, Switchfoot, The Home Team, State Champs, Gym Class Heroes, The Plot and You, Static X, Hate Breed, We the Kings, Paleface Swiss, Creator, Eagles of Death Metal, 303, Cradle of Filth. Uh, really? Cradle of Filth going to be there? Are we sure? uh,
might just be Danny Filth.
yeah, The Wonder Years, LS Dunes, Atreyu, Dragon Force, Windrose, Carcass, Palais Royale, Failure, Polaris, Memphis Mayfire, Bless the Fall, Devil Driver, From First to Last, Apocalyptica, Census Fail, 4 Year Strong, Fuel, Violent Vera, Dying Fetus, Breathe Carolina, Whitechapel, Throne, Bloodywood, Buck Cherry, All That Remains, and Berlin, Magnolia Park, Cattle Decapitation, the Ready Set, Catch Your Breath, Crown the Empire, Chelsea Grin, Death Angel, Biffy Clyro, Drowning Pool, Dope, Make Them Suffer, Thornhill, Demon Hunter, Saliva, Brand of Sacrifice, Fozzy, Holding Absence, Sick Puppies, 10 Years, Dead Poet Society, Voila, Napalm Death, Spine Shank, Thy Art is Murder, Alpha Wolf, Deicide, The Paradox, Local H, Carnifex, Bonnie Snatcher, Flesh God Apocalypse, Egypt Central, Winona Fighter, House of Protection, Fame on Fire, The Word Alive, Amira Efiki, Suffocation, Non-Point, The Taurus, Jaluka, Necrogoblicon, Jesus Christ.
That one's always a kind of a mouthful.
I know.
It's up there with Sanguisuga Boss.
uh, Red Il Nino, Psycho Stick, Adelita's Way, Framing Henley, Immolation, Archers, Galactic Empire, Signs of the Swarm, Primer 55, Disembodied Tyrant, Ashes Remains, Spirit World, Distant Infected Rain, Castle Rat, Not Enough Space, The Haunt, Wolves at the Gate, Snuffed on Sight, If Not For Me, Colorblind, Ladrones, Platinum Moon, Nether Walker, and Kill the Robot. So that is the lineup so far as I think that's the confirmed bands so far. So
Yeah.
which I think there'll be some stuff added, but it'll be more local, I think, than anything. So
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, once you got the big boys set up, and
yeah,
everything else is probably a little bit of like earlier in the day filler and stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
Getting the early day lineup taken care of. But
But that was my
all right,
contribution this week there. So
All right. Well, for my contribution to hitting the road for the week of the 22nd through the 28th, we have Dimmu Borgir and Behemoth going on a October 2026 European and UK
Jesus
co-headlining tour
Christ.
with Dark Funeral opening starting October 9th, 2026 in Zurich, Switzerland at Hall 622, finishing October 30th in Copenhagen, Denmark at KB Hallen. My Chemical Romance has got a 2026 UK and European tour coming up with a different opener at each show, starting June 30th in Glasgow, Scotland at Anfield Stadium, featuring Echo and the Bunnymen, finishing July 18th in Madrid, Spain at Iberdrola Music, featuring Mogwai. Slow Crush has a Scandinavian tour set up for May of next year. Openers have yet to be announced. Starting May 7th in Copenhagen, Denmark, the venue for that show has yet to be announced as well. Finishing May 14th in Vadsø, Norway at Valo Rock. Svalbard has a farewell tour in Europe next year. Openers have yet to be announced for that. Starting May 1st in Paris, France at Glassart, finishing May 10th in Bruges, Belgium at Cactus. Shiner and Bursting are going on tour in January of next year with Drop Sonic and Atomic Rule appearing at select dates. Starting January 14th in Wichita, Kansas at Barleycorns, finishing January 24th in Chicago at Sleeping Village featuring Atomic Rule. They will be in Nashville on January 22nd at Dark Matter. A Killer's Confession has a tour set up for next year. Openers have yet to be announced. Starting February 20th in Wilmington, Delaware at Reggie's, finishing March 10th in St. Louis, Missouri at Red Flag. Sepultura has announced a lineup for their final European show, which will be August 9th in Dublin, Ireland at the 3 Arena with Biohazard, Malevolence, Sacred Reich, and Crypto. So that's going to be a pretty
Oh,
solid
man.
lineup. It's going to be a pretty solid lineup for that show.
Hell yeah.
And then this is good news for you and I, especially being huge fans. Machine Head has announced their An Evening With Spring 2026 European and UK tour. The reason why I feel that it's good news is if they're announcing their An Evening With for Europe, it's
Yeah,
probably not going to be
in the
too.
States, yeah.
They're probably going to do it here in the States not long after, which is awesome because I love 3 hours of Machine Head all in one night. I love that shit. That's going to start April 11th in Copenhagen, Denmark at Vega, finishing May 17th in London, England at the O2 Academy, Brixton. Now, another one that's good news because this one is getting closer and closer to the United States, but I wish it would be in this incarnation right here. Megadeth, Anthrax, and Exodus are going on a Canadian tour starting February 15th in Victoria, British Columbia at the Save On Foods Memorial Center, finishing March 6th in Quebec City, Quebec at the Videotron Center. If that tour comes to the United States, I would be more than happy with that. Megadeth, Anthrax, and Exodus, get out of here. The good thing, and I don't know if we talked about this because it probably was announced while we were, on our little run of interviews, is Dave Mustaine said that this farewell tour theirs, quote unquote, is probably going to last 3 to 5 years.
Oh yeah, well,
so
I kind of figured.
We'll see them here in the United States.
Well, I mean, if you think
before this thing wraps up,
I mean, if you think about it, Sepultura has already been on tour for 2 years, so,
right? Yeah.
So I mean,
this
kind of yeah.
Right. So this Megadeth farewell tour isn't going to be something that is going to be over quickly, which is good because we'll get to see them here in the United States in some form or fashion. Like I say, I would be happy with that lineup right there, but we'll get to see them in some form or fashion here in the U.S. before they call it a career here. And then Anthrax is going to march in 2026 down to Australia for the first time since 2019, I think it said for them.
Oh, nice.
March 23rd in Brisbane at Fortitude Music Hall. March 25th in Adelaide at the Hindley Street Music Hall, March 26th in Melbourne at Festival Hall, and March 28th in Sydney at the Enmore Theatre. Then
Hidden Intent needs to get on that bill, man.
They do, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did. To be completely honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah. Who was the one that they announced they were opening for? They just announced one of those.
Mortal Sin.
Yeah.
They're opening for Mortal Sin. Yeah, but they just got done opening for Onslaught, and then there was one night that they opened for Testament of all. I mean, my God.
Oh, maybe that was the thing I was remembering.
Yeah,
was the Testament one.
Yeah, Hidden Intent, man, they've been killing it down there, and good for them, man, good for them. We got Dying Fetus and Pig Destroyer have a co-headlining New Year's Eve show with Visceral Disgorge and DJ Flexecutioner. It's going to be, December 31st, of course, in Baltimore at the Baltimore Soundstage. Then Amon Amarth, Soilwork, and Orbit Culture are going on a 2026 European and UK tour next fall. I don't know how they plan this shit so far in advance, but starting October 9th in Manchester, England at the O2 Apollo, finishing November 15th in Lisbon, Portugal at Sala Tejo. Then Guns N' Roses is going on a world tour next year. God only knows who's going to open. Had no announcement yet. But you ready for these dates? Starting March 28th in Monterrey, Mexico at the Tecate Pal Norte, finishing September 19th in Atlanta, Georgia at Truist Park. So
Damn.
6-month world tour coming up. So
and that's how you used to do it, man.
that
That's
is
the
how you used to.
old
Yeah.
school ways. So.
The whole world. So, but I mean, they're not coming to Nashville, but I mean, Atlanta's close enough if you would decide you want to go. So it's at the same stadium that the Metallica concert was at. So,
Yeah.
we know how to get there if we decide to go. But so yeah. And the funny thing is you mentioned it earlier, talking about Axl Rose. It's funny you brought that up because the openers haven't been announced for this tour yet. But I guarantee you, it's not just going to be Guns N' Roses, because you and I both know there's no fucking way that Axl Rose is going to sing for 3 hours. No way in hell. You'd be lucky if he shows up on time.
Well, they never show up on time.
That's what I'm saying.
That's their shtick now. I mean, that's one of the things they do. They do it on purpose now.
So you'd be lucky to get them on time. So, but that was hitting the road for the past week.
Right. Cool. That will lead us into our theme of the week, which we haven't done in a while, so it's pretty cool.
Yep.
Theme of the week this week we chose weapons and ammunition.
Yep.
So kind of war games. Right in time for war games.
That's right.
Tonight. It's tonight, right?
This is Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Saturday.
So anyway, I had the weapons side of things. So I'll start off with Fight Nailed to the Gun from War of Words, 1993. In This Moment, The Gun Show from A Star-Crossed Wasteland, 2010. Chevelle, Take Out the Gunman, La Gargola, 2014. Armored Saint, Missile to Gun, double weapons there. So,
that's right, yeah.
Punch in the Sky, 2020. We had Lamb of God, One Gun from Ashes of the Wake, 2004. Then we went with Warbringer, Living Weapon from Worlds Torn Asunder, 2012. The Empire Shall Fall, Voices Forming Weapons from Awaken, 2009. Bullet for My Valentine, Knives from Bullet for My Valentine, 2021. Ross the Boss, Blood of Knives, Legacy of Blood, Fire and Steel, 2023.
Nice.
Trivium, Like a Sword Over Damocles, in the Court of the Dragon, 2021. Then we had Nonpoint, Side with the Guns from Recoil, 2004. Black Veil Brides, Perfect Weapon from We Stitch These Wounds, 2010. Make Them Suffer, Weaponized from Make Them Suffer, 2024. Children of Bottom, Suicide Bomber, which I'm pretty sure that's a weapon.
It is. Yeah, it is. Counts.
I Worship Chaos, 2015. Then I went with Havoc, Under the Gun from Unnatural Selection, 2013. Then I went with Exodus, 44 Magnum Opus from Shovel-Headed Kill Machine, 2005.
Nice. That's a great play on words, too. Oh,
yeah.
Great play on words.
Hellfire, Lightning Axes from Metal Masters, 2016. Then I went with Iceland Kills, Let's Bury the Hatchet in Your Head from The Predator Becomes the Prey, 2014. Then I went with Motionless in White, Time Bomb that was just a single from 2021. Then I went with Flotsam and Jetsam, I Am the Weapon from I Am the Weapon, 2024. And then I went with Metal Church, Bomb to Drop from The Weight of the World, 2024. And then last but not least, I went with Partway Drive, Light Napalm from Darker Steel, 2022.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it was like 22 songs there or something. So
nice. Okay, that's good.
I mean, I could have kept going. And I was like, that's good.
No, I mean, hell, yeah. 22 is a good even number. All right. For the ammunition side, I started off with Mr. Impact's music, Bullet with an Aim by Nonpoint off To the Pain from 2005. As soon as I some ammunition, I was like, well, fuck. I mean, that was like the first,
I knew it was coming.
That was the first thing that popped into my head.
I was like, well, if you didn't do it, I would have done it. So.
No, well, hell no. That was the first thing that popped into my head. I was like, that's got to be on there. So, that one's probably going to lead off the playlist. But then we have Sweating Bullets by Megadeth off Symphony of Destruction from 1992. Vote with a Bullet by Corrosion of Conformity off of Blind from 1991. Then we had Bulletproof by Godsmack from When Legends Rise from 2018. Dodge the Bullet by Bark off The Time Has Come from 2025. And then, one of these bands that either you love them or you hate them, Bulletproof by Five Finger Death Punch off War is the Answer from 2009. Bite the Bullet by Machine Head off Through the Ashes of Empires from 2003. Cannonball by Primal Fear off of Apocalypse from 2018. Poisoned Arrow by Arch Enemy off Deceivers from 2022. 1,000 Burning Arrows from Amon Amarth off Yams Viking from 2016. And Arrows and Words from the Sky by Machine Head off. Nice. It was off of their Arrows and Words from the Sky EP from 2021, even though it was re-released on Of Kingdom and Crown from 2021. One of our little pet peeves that they did with that album.
Yeah.
Arrows of Agony by Heathen off The Evolution of Chaos from 2010. Number 7 with a Bullet by Bleeding Through off of This Is Love, This Is Murderous from 2003. Silver Bullet by Iron Savior from Skycrest from 2020. And then I had Scream, Aim, and Fire by Bullet for My Valentine off the album of the same name from 2008. That one is in keeping with the overall theme. Now, I have two more. And I saved these for last because these aren't metal. But the next song that I'm going to say, the next song I'm going to announce is the heaviest thing that this band, in my opinion, did, and it goes with the theme. So I went Bullet with Butterfly Wings by Smashing Pumpkins off of Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness from 1995. Because it goes with the theme, and as far as I'm concerned, that's the heaviest song that Smashing Pumpkins ever did. So it fits. This next one is probably going to raise some eyebrows, but it goes with the theme, and it's a tribute. Side of a Bullet by Nickelback off All the Right Reasons from 2005. And I know it's Nickelback, but if you didn't know it was from Nickelback and you knew the story of the song, obviously it's a tribute to Dimebag after he got shot.
Right.
So that song is going on the list. If you don't want to listen to it, skip it on the playlist.
There you go.
That's all there is to it. So, bands that we normally probably wouldn't put on this list, because like I say, Smashing Pumpkins are not metal. Neither is Nickelback. But in keeping with the theme, the songs work. So, like I say, you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to. That's fine. Just press next. So
that's right.
There you go.
Yeah. Which we do a lot of sometimes.
It happens.
To stuff anyway, so
it happens. But still, I think it's shaping up to be a pretty solid theme of the week.
Pretty good playlist.
Yeah, I think. But we'll get it compiled and collaborated. And we'll get it posted for you guys by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, I'm actually off all weekend, so I'll be able to do my side pretty quick, I guess.
Nice.
Let's try to see. All right. That will take us into our album reviews.
Yes.
Which is something we've been having to do on our page for a while. So it's kind of interesting to have to actually talk about it. So
that's true.
I heard you typing. I thought I missed something.
No, I'm all good. No. All good.
All right. So my album review this week, I went with Bloodfield. I'm going to try to pronounce this right. Homunculus Sapiens. I think that's what it says. So Bloodfield is a thrash metal band formed in 2009 and hail from Vicenza, Italy, and are currently signed to Great Dane Records. The current members, which I'm going to torture every one of these names because that's why I'm a cornbread metalhead. Current members are Filippo Sanetto on vocals, Domenico Thiagni on guitars, and Andrea Dal Cortivo, there we go, on bass, and then Andrea Desi on drums, and then Marco Olivo on guitars. So hopefully I didn't butcher them too bad. But
I think they would understand.
Well, yeah.
I would hope anyway.
Yeah. You call me mispronounce my name.
On this, the day of my daughter's wedding.
Yeah. This is a band's second full-length release. You would think they'd have a lot more out between now and then, so maybe that's something we can reach out and try to get some confirmation on why it was only 2 albums in 16 years.
Yeah.
Be kind of interesting to hear. 10 songs, 44 minutes and 52 seconds in length. This one is very similar to the Mesro album I reviewed a couple of weeks ago, I think. Just as being the thrash, it's kind of everything that they do is kind of like fits so perfectly well in the thrash scene,
I got
especially what you think is a thrash album. You know, a lot of times we hear thrash and we're like, yes and no. You know,
you. Yeah.
kind of because I mean, a lot of it is kind of different. You know, thrash core. They got like a thrash core now or something. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
which I don't even know if that's a thing, but that's what I named it because that's what it sounded like to me. I mean, it sounded like it was thrash and metalcore together, and I was like, I've never heard anything like it before, and I'm just like, well, that was definitely like a thrashcore album.
And that's how
So
subgenres are created.
that's right, that's right. If it's not one, maybe I've probably just invented one.
Yeah.
Vocals are perfect for the instrumental compositions. I think like they're not too guttural and they're not too screamy. If that makes sense, it's more of
Yeah, sure.
a really good balance in between. Probably somewhere, you know. Well, I'll get to that part in a minute because kind of the whole thing kind of sounds like what I'm going to say. So, really good balance. Guitar work is amazing as always. I find it. I finally, like I said, I finally been saying that a lot lately, especially with I think in the last probably 2 months we've come across some very underrated guitarists.
Extremely underrated
Yeah,
guitar.
for some of the stuff that we've been listening to, I'm just like, holy shit, dude! Like, you brought up the Jet Jaguar. That dude's, oh man, that dude's so unreal.
Oh, he's out of his mind.
Yeah, and it's just and that's a whole different like thing too because it doesn't it was more of a I don't know, I think that was more of a traditional metal sound.
Hmm. It was.
So it wasn't really thrashy or anything like that. But just the stuff he did on guitar was just like, damn, dude, I don't know.
Hmm.
It almost brought you back to the Steve Vai days when he was younger and stuff,
Yeah.
where you know.
Well, that's like what I was talking about, and I don't have my notes for that. I don't have my notes for that album in front of me, but I remember one of the songs on the album. I was like, this is Eruption esque the way Ariyuki's
Oh
playing.
yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely insane just the way he was playing.
Yeah. But these guys are kind of right there with them, man. It's like fast and thrashy solos, and it was it was just so, like I said, it's just so perfectly placed in there, man. It's like
Mhm.
it's you know maybe that's why it takes so long to do an album. They're perfectionists. I don't know. I don't know, but
I wouldn't doubt
uh,
it. I wouldn't doubt it.
but the drumming is even perfect. An even display of cymbals and bass and toms, all that was kind of evened out perfectly. It wasn't like one over the other. And they, we talk about this a lot too. They even had a spotlight on the bass, especially in the intro on a song called "Burning Ground," "Burning Down." Sorry,
Mhm.
there was like a bass intro on there, man. I was just like, oh, this is so fucking cool. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of times you don't hear those things, so it's very very cool to be able to pick out every instrument with the
Mhm.
sound that they're doing. So,
Yeah.
the only way I can describe this is probably maybe like a Hate Breed meets Cavalera. It wasn't as guttural as like
Okay.
as Max would do,
Yeah.
but it definitely sounded a lot like musical composition wise, sounded a lot like Cavalera Conspiracy and stuff. So, and then the Hate Breed part kind of comes vocally, like Jamie Josta kind of sticks out, but it was a real more of a thrashy Jamie Josta, I guess, instead of kind of a Jamie I always thinks kind of more punk hardcore vocal.
Mhm. Yeah, and
Uh,
Jamie's a little more, he's a little more straightforward with his aggression
right.
to where it can be a little monotone sometimes,
Sometimes,
where
yeah.
there's really no, pitch fluctuation in Jamie's stuff
Mhm.
or anything like that. So yeah, I know.
Well,
I know
yeah.
what
So
you mean.
this album, I mean, Filippo's really got that down to where he can, like, even one of the songs they brought it down a little. Tip on kind of reminded me of Eyes of the Living with the way they brought that one song down and then they was talking a little bit and then
Hmm.
and it brought back up. He did that in one of the songs. I was just like, man, that's pretty cool. I like that, because they kind of toned it down and then he was like, talking and then it was like, "Rah," and went
Yeah,
right
yeah,
back to it.
yeah,
So I was
yeah,
like, oh man, that's fucking cool.
yeah.
So it's kind of like I guess more or less it's a amazing to me to still be surprised by things. I guess it's like as much as we listen to shit,
Hmm.
but it still does. It still surprises me when I hear stuff like that because I guess it's not often you hear them. So it's
To
but
hear something a little new and different. Yeah,
yeah. So but I'm gonna give this one an easy four horns, man. It's a
nice,
really good album. So it may be one of the last to reach outs I do or something. We'll see.
nice. Very nice. All right. My album review this week. Well, actually, no. I'll do my album review first. I want to talk about something that I watched. My album review is the new album by Steel Arctis. The album is Dream Ruler. Steel Arctis is a epic heavy metal band formed in Thessaloniki, Greece in 2020. If that sounds familiar at all, because that's where Firewind is from, their lyrical themes are war. That's it. They just, war.
Are you sure?
their their current label is No Remorse Records. They are a quartet led by, well, not necessarily led by, just the first person on the list is Nash G on bass. Well, until 2024, not the current bassist, but on guitars and keyboards. Now, I'm not 100% sure if Nash G and Gus G are related. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. Based on the way they play guitar, I'd say probably, but I don't. Like I said, I don't know that for sure. Then we have Tassos Lazarus on vocals, Strutter on bass and on keyboards. Then we have Minas Chats. Oh boy, Minas Chatsaminas on drums. So it does appear that, because it doesn't have Tassos's dates with the band listed, so he may or may not be the only original member. He may not, because all the other members are their dates are 23, 23, and Nash has got a question mark. So I don't know who the hell the original members are in this band anymore. It's very, very strange. I mean, aside from that, this is the band's third full-length studio album. Their debut album, Fire and Blood, came out in 2020. The new album is 11 tracks long, 47 minutes and 31 seconds. So, not short, not long. I mentioned Firewind earlier, and I didn't really tie the two bands together while I was listening to the album, even, Nash G being listed as the guitarist and keyboardist. But, I would say there are some similarities between the two. I would say that, Steel Arctis is a little more melodic, to where Firewind is a little bit heavier, if I had to, compare the two bands. But the new album, is super, super riff heavy. A lot of extended solo sections, which is very, very cool. Again, the guitars are done extremely well. There's a lot of chants that are added in, that to give it that epicness, the little bit ethereal sound to it, a little bit of melodic depth. The vocalist, Tassos, he can hit some ridiculously high notes. It's crazy. The top end that he has. He's got the wails down. He can wail. He can hit it and hold it, which is tremendous. The mix on this album is again, it's very, very well done. All of the instruments rather are present where they need to be. The bass is there, the drums are there. A lot of the drumming, especially the bass drum, it's got like the gallop, sounds like horses galloping, kind of like the same thing that I did with Bloodbound. Same thing. They had a lot of that going on. There's a lot of gang vocals, on the album, but you can tell that they're layered in, which is fine, but that just means that the band has to contribute when the songs are played live. So, but there's a lot of cool stuff in there. Track number 5, Wicked Lies, has a really cool intro that kind of reminds you of Holy Diver with the cadence before, the vocals kick in and all that shit. And then, there's a keyboard intro on track number 8, Glory of the Hero, that reminds me a lot of our friends in Spillage. The way that song starts.
Yeah.
A really cool galloping riff to it, along with the bass drum. Then track 10, Legend of the Warrior, I call it a heavy power ballad. It's not a love song like ballads usually are, but it's kind of like, Legend of the Warrior. It's an ode to a soldier. Just, it could be, any type of soldier, how he fights and everything, his whole story, all that shit. And then track number 11 is an instrumental outro that's got a lot of chanting in it, and it's got a pan flute, so it kind of gives it a little bit of an oriental feel to it, but it's like 2 minutes and 3 seconds. So it's kind of a slow burn outro, and it actually fades out like early. It's got like an early fade out to it. So it really
Okay.
kind of puts a really good stamp on the album being an outro. And it's subdued, and the pan flute is it. Obviously we don't hear pan flutes in metal too often, just kind of like we
Right.
don't saxophones in metal too often. So it's definitely an interesting ingredient and element they add in, but with the way they were going with the very, very mellow lead out and the early fade out in just the track and the album, kind of a cool little effect that it did too. So a very, very well done track and a very well done album. I'm giving it 4 horns as well. So
Nice.
yeah.
So I was trying to look that up for you, and it does say the album was mixed and mastered by Stratos Karagiannis,
Mhm.
which also mixed and mastered Gus G's records. So it's kind of interesting that
Probably they've got to have some sort of
they got to
relation.
have some kind of, yeah, even if they're cousins or
They have
something. I
to,
mean, yeah, it doesn't say anything on here when I looked it up, but like even
yeah,
Gus G's Wikipedia don't say anything about siblings or anything. So
yeah.
I'm
Because
not real sure.
Firewind is from the same city, Thessaloniki. If I'm even saying that right, I hope I am. But so Firewind is from the same city, so I mean they may be related somehow. Of course, they may not. Gus G and Nash G. It might just be
Well, I mean,
stage.
they are. Gus G's not even his real
So, I
name's not
mean,
even Gus. It's Konstantinos Karametrotis.
oh,
So I
see, there
mean,
you go. So I
yeah,
mean, again,
I think I just did a Harry Potter spell.
yeah,
Um,
you may have turned somebody into a rabbit or something. Yeah,
so I'm sure Gus G's easier to pronounce. So it's kind of like he's like, you
absolutely.
know what, just call me Gus.
Yeah. So,
Man.
but I mean, whether or not they're directly related or not, I mean, they're both tremendous guitar players. So, I mean,
So
yeah.
what's the list? Is it very much going on next week or?
It's definitely not the longest list we've ever.
I know we're getting toward the end of the year, so I figure it's going to get less and less. So.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The list for the 12th is pretty lengthy, but then the
Okay,
19th is okay. The 26th has got 3 on it. So,
I got you.
well, but I mean, I would say it's a pretty normal size list. But before I get to that, like I say, I want to talk about this real quick. The other night on Paramount Plus, Angela and I watched something called Ozzy No Escape from Now.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is it's an the overview is it's an all access intimate view of the rock icon's 6-year health battle as he fights to get on stage one last time.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is it's 2018, the end of 2018, leading up to the Back to the Beginning show.
Mm-hmm.
And basically it starts off, like I say, in 2018, where he first announced the cancellation of that first European tour that he went to. And then, of course, leading up to the cancellation of the tour that you and I had tickets to, the Ozzy and Judas Priest show, leading all the way up to him getting on stage for the Back to the Beginning. And actually, the very, very end of the documentary showed his funeral procession after he died, because this just came out in October. So
Yeah.
it just came out in October, so it's only been out about
I've
a month.
seen it. I've seen it. I hadn't watched it.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it. Yeah, I've seen it on there, but I haven't watched it yet.
It is ridiculously good, yet heart wrenching at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, all the shit that Ozzy went through from 2018 till the day he died. I mean, this man he went through so much shit, and we know he went through a lot. I didn't realize he went through as much as he did. This man was in pain for like the last probably 10 years of his life. It was just insane. And so, I mean, it's very well done, very well put together. But I mean, it is just so heart wrenching. It's just gut wrenching to watch. I mean, everything that he went through and everything he tried to do just to be able to just to hell, not even just to perform again. Cause at some point he's like, I can't do this shit anymore. But I mean, it was just draining on him physically, and even more draining on him mentally. Cause he was like, I want to fucking I want to play. He's like in his
Yeah.
head, he's like, I want to play music. His body would not allow him to do it.
Right.
And what's so irritating about the whole thing is come to find out that, that shit he went through with his
Mhm.
neck, having, his that operation to stabilize the injury he had from the fall. There was a doctor after the fact, after he had the surgery, and he went through infections and everything else and
Mhm.
all this other bullshit. Come to find out that there was another surgeon that said after the fact that said, well, they were too aggressive with what you had done, and they didn't have to do as much as they did. And
Wow.
if they wouldn't have gone as far as they did with what they did to stabilize his spinal cord, he wouldn't have gone through some of the stuff that he went through with like the stuff after the fact with like the infections. And he actually developed bone spurs after the fact because of the screws that they put in the place that they use. The screws that they put in caused, the bone spurs
Mhm.
and everything else. And he had an infection, and he went through staph infections and sepsis, which should by rights have killed him.
Right.
Sepsis should have killed him, and it
Yeah.
didn't. But he couldn't walk, and he had the Parkinson's and everything else. But I mean, it showed him when he went to the Hall of Fame and that whole thing, and you could just see it in his eyes that it was killing him having to just sit there and watch other people play his music. You could tell it was killing him.
Mhm.
He was sitting on that throne of his, and he was moving his legs. And I mean, at one point you could see him, he was like singing along to his own song that he couldn't sing because he couldn't get up there to stand up long enough to sing it and everything else. And then, all of the therapy and the exercise that he went through just to be able to, get up on stage. But the one thing that that annoyed me about the way that the whole production and the way they only showed like 4.5 minutes of the whole thing. At the end, they
Mhm.
basically showed him showing up, getting in the throne, them lifting him up on the stage, and then basically they didn't show him singing and they didn't show him doing any performing at the back
Hmm.
to the none of that. That was kind of upsetting that they didn't show
Well,
any of that.
I wonder if
But
that may have been due to some copyrights or licenses or something because of the being like a benefit. Not really a.
I mean, maybe, but it's his own material. It's his own shit. And
I mean,
Sharon
I
would have
get
benefited
that, but
from that. But, so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, I mean,
maybe
maybe
they.
it,
I mean, normally you do those things, you got to cut something out. So I mean, to make
yeah,
it
I do,
all fit. So,
so, but it just seemed
but
strange.
you also got to think is they're selling that on. They're going to do the concert
I know they
in the
are, but I
movie
mean,
theater, so that may have a lot to do with it too. So,
no, I totally get that. And I will want to go see it. But at the same time, nothing,
I know,
not
right?
one
Should
line
have
of
been
any
something.
song, nothing. I don't know. It just seemed a little strange, but, from a bookend start to finish kind of thing.
Hmm.
It was a fantastic documentary. But I mean, and they even got Amy. She was actually a part of it. They actually interviewed her too.
Yeah.
So all three of the kids, Sharon, of course, Ozzy. And I will say one thing, Ozzy was a fucking goofball to the end, man. I mean, that motherfucker always had a great sense of humor, and he was a goofball to the end. I mean, say what you want about Ozzy, man. That he went down swinging, though, man. I mean, he did. He went down swinging. And and even at the end before they went to the video clips of him showing up there at Aston Villa, one of the last little kind of like little monologues that he had, one
Mhm.
of the last little interview snippets that he had, he said I never thought I'd make it past 40. He said I had a great life. He said I can't complain, but I mean,
Mhm.
so I mean, you got to give it to him. I
Yeah.
mean, he got to do the one thing that he wanted. He got to say goodbye.
Mhm.
I mean, and dude, man, no joke. I mean, Angela was crying. I was welling up with tears. And I mean, it was just, and that's the thing is, I mean, if you watch it and it doesn't, I'm not saying if it doesn't make you cry, then you're not human. But I mean, if it
Feel something.
doesn't make you feel something, then I mean, come on. But I mean, I did. I teared up a little bit, watching all of this, everything he went through, and then watching him, come up through the stage on the throne and everything, and everyone that they took a shot of in the crowd. I mean, everyone was just bawling, and I mean, you could
Mhm.
tell how emotional he was feeling, and it was just one of those things, and a lot of people after the fact, when after he passed away, and we were reporting on it and everything, and the stories started to come out, like Zach Wilde and Tony Iommi and even Jack, they were like, he held on as long as he could to get on this stage and do this last performance so he could say goodbye. And so and it was crazy because they even because Sharon even addressed it. Sharon and Ozzy were talking about it. They're like, after the 5th, we're free to live our own lives. And I at one when she said that, I was like, I literally out loud I went, damn, because at the time they're like, we have this one last show and we can just do whatever we want. I went,
Yeah.
damn, because you see that.
And then 3 weeks later, he's gone.
Once it was recorded, they were like, all we have to do is make it to this last show and we can retire and we can do whatever we want. And then I said out loud, I said, damn, because no one, like 17 days later, that's all they had was 17 days. And the funny thing is I don't even think they had a full 17 days, because he was already, because he was hospitalized and everything after that. So, I mean, the 17 days, they weren't a good 17 days.
Right.
So, I mean, it was one of those things, like I say, Zach, Jack, and Tony, they all said it. They were like, he willed himself to get on that stage to say goodbye. That way he could go out on his own terms. And I think that's exactly what happened. But it's a very well done documentary. If you haven't had
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out. Like I said, I've seen it a few times. I just hadn't had a chance to sit down and watch it. So
I highly recommend it. I mean, it's got an 8.3 out of 10 on IMDb, which translates to a little more than 4 out of 5. And I don't think that's an unfair rating. I would rate it higher than an 8.3, but that's just me being an Ozzy fan. But I think it was very, very well done.
Cool.
It was very well done. All right, so looking forward to this coming Friday, the beginning of December. Let's call it the beginning of the end of 2025.
Yeah.
Over from our friends at HeavyMusicHQ.com, leading off with Abnormal with Talia's Gore Talent. Then we have Asheron with Rites of the Black Mass, the definitive edition. We have Adventure with a self-titled re-release. Age of Emergence with the All-Seeing Eye Part 2, that's an EP. Then we have Alfonso Conspiracy with the Explicit, the Exploited. Then we have the All Ireland Metal Project with Asairi Documentary OST. Barditis with, let's see.
I've never heard of that band.
What, the All Ireland Metal Project?
Fuck me.
Or Barditis. Oh, well, Well, that's the name of the album, apparently. We have Barditis with Nibelungen True. Why not? Then we have Bila with Bessel Art. We have Blocken with Swiato Stret. We have Blood Red Throne with Silt. We have Silt Skin. Booby Trap with Limbo. Buried Souls with Here Comes the Void. That's an EP. Burning Death with a self-titled album. Cervello with Chair. Darvasa with We Are Him. They are he. He is I, and I am him. Dead Peach with the demo tapes. Green. Death Obvious with a self-titled album. That's pretty obvious. Deos with Augustus Omnipotens. Discovery Through Torment with Telesynthetic Rebirth. That's an EP. We have Enthroned with Ash Spawn. We have Eshteter with Symphonic Crows live at the Santiago Londono's Theater. Fane with Armageddon Scars. Final Coil with The World We Inherited 2025. Ghoul House with Realm of Ghouls. Gaihan with Iterations, Grev with Blecknot, Bortum, Evig, Tid. I probably just cast a spell. Grey Fox Conspiracy with Preacher Man, Greystone Canyon with Something Borrowed, Something New. Hayward X Dalek with a self-titled album. Hollow Peak with Obsidian Cult, Homegrown with a self-titled album. Hurt with The Grief That Feeds the Night. Idle Throne with Harbinger of Light, that's an EP. Indigo Soar with Cosmic Censor, Inner Shrine with The Last Emperor, Jester Majesty with Infinite Measure, Finite Existence. We have Jour Palais with Resonances, Kakahara with Love Songs Part 2, that's an EP. Long Distance Calling with Live at Lichtberg, Malamort / Cerbera with Aimless Glace Mare, that's a split. Mayhem with Grand Declaration of War 25th Anniversary Vinyl Edition. MC50 with 10 more. Mean to You with 0. Monolith with The Price of Their Heaven. Never Seer with a self-titled album. Phantoms of Future with Forever Dark. Post-Death Soundtrack with Grist. Saint Abiana du Freud with The Purest Ending. Sepulchral with Beneath the Shroud. Sire Languish with Pull to God. That's an EP. Skog's Cult with a self-titled album. Solidarity with Benediction Part 2. Sore Wind with Espanto. That's an EP. Sun Terror with Exodus Triumphalis, Telemac with a self-titled EP, Tesseract with Radar, Upon a Burning Body with Blood of the Bull. I'm sure you and
Mm-hmm.
Susie will want to listen to that.
Oh yeah.
Velmorth with Feral Dominion, Vice with the Red Tape Sessions, that's an EP. Vrimwat with Lupus Viridis, We Kill Cowboys with Back from the Dead, that's an EP. Witness Chamber with Bronze Gates, and Wounded in Forest with Anti-Human Artist. That is an EP. So not the longest list we've ever had to deal with, but also not the shortest. But still plenty for you and I to choose from for next week. So
That's another thing we talk about. See, Bon Burning Body's got an album coming out next week, and I couldn't do a list yet. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So
Well, I mean, you've got every single one of those bands, of course. But I mean, if you just talk about the quote unquote bigger name bands on the list, I mean, you've got, let's see, what have you got? You got Blood Red Throne. You got Upon a Burning Body. You have Enthroned. Let's see, who else do we have? Tesseract. So I mean, you've got 5 or 6 bands that are arguably, depending on who you ask, a little bit more of a household name. How can you go ahead and be like, we're at the end of November, let's come out with our year in review, our best of list? How can you do that?
I mean, unless they're getting stuff in their inbox like we do all the way to the end of the year already. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Maybe.
But I still don't think it's fair, because you're not giving your readership or your fan base, you're not giving them an opportunity to judge whether or not you're right or full of shit or otherwise. So I mean, there's stuff in our inbox now that's not releasing until 2026, but it wouldn't be fair for us to be like, it's it's going to be our album of the year for 2025 just because we heard it in November. See, that's not fair.
Well, no, yeah, I'm just saying, like
but yes, I mean,
some of these albums, like I'm talking about, looking ahead, I seen like the following week after the next one is like 0930 and Volumes, and
yeah.
Let's see, what was the other one I seen? Lord of the Lost.
I mean,
there's still big names coming.
I mean, Cries of Agony, Die Krups.
There's still big names got stuff coming out. So
the Grand Bonnet Band. So I mean, yeah, there's still stuff to be released. I don't understand that. I mean, Rotten Sound has an EP coming out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It doesn't make any sense.
All right, gang. As we said, next week we do have a scheduled guest being with us, so we'll let you guys in on that starting first of the week. You just keep up with our socials, and we will be able to you'll be able to see who that is. We'll be starting on Monday. We'll start advertising for that. So
yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward.
Yeah,
to that. Always looking forward. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard their EPs yet, dude. I know you probably will this week. So,
well, I mean, obviously, I listened to the new album, of course. So I'll have to go back and see. I listened to more than the first album, but I'll have to see how far I got with the other releases.
I think they only got the 2 EPs. I think.
Yeah, I think so, but.
I'm gonna say that's all they have. Let's see. Yeah, EP in 2025. EP in 2023. Yep.
I'm thinking of a different band, but yeah, I still have to. I still have to listen. I still have to listen to everything.
3 EPs. Yeah, I think they got 3 EPs. So, which is kind of crazy. That's one of the questions I wanted to see what they're thinking on just doing EPs. We know a lot of people think that it's we talked to that one. I can't remember who it was. Said why do a full album when they're just going to listen to 6 songs and throw the other 6 away anyway? So
right, yeah.
You got a good point, I guess. But
I mean, sure.
All right, gang. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and hopefully we'll see you back next week for the interview. Until then, you can always check out our 24/7 live streaming radio station.
Yep.
At, was it the frontrow.net /radio?
Radio. Yep.
Radio, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
It's
then,
coming
of
across the
course.
screen right now. If you read it again.
Oh, there it goes.
thefrontrow.net/radio. Yep.
Yeah. And then
Yep.
you can go in there and there's 4 or 5 different radio stations in there, but Metalheads Unite is on there. So you just click that and start listening away. So
That's right. Then follow us on all of our social media outlets. We have our Facebook group, our Facebook page. We are on X, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, our YouTube channel and we are on Twitch. And then follow, like it says, all of our playlists and past band interviews on Spotify. Then, if you prefer the electronic mail, you can email us at metalheadsuniteusa@gmail.com.
cool.
That's right.
All right, guys. Well, that will wrap this one up for today. Hopefully, like I said, we'll see you back here for the band interview next week. And then, in the meantime, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Have a great week, you guys. Thank you.